Genesis Diamond's so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back over 40 years to the diamond cutting capital of Tel Aviv, Israel. That's where Genesis owner Boaz Ramon grew up, in the center of the diamond universe. His connections with the best diamond cutters allowed him special access, giving rise to a thriving wholesale business here in the United States. Then, after a few years, this wholesaler changed the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices he had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success. Today, Genesis Diamonds provides that extraordinary value to people right here in Middle Tennessee, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best price of any jewelry store in America. Genesis Diamonds, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG510 $849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE78169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer.com. I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Mariah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant.
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, good people of Memphis. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024, Hump Day edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure. Check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, patio furniture, and so much more. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to the program, if you're watching us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or any of the social media networks, good morning to you. Currently 76 degrees. We're looking at 79 for a high, so it's already just about at that mark. The weather, though, is going to get dicey. Showers expected this morning. Numerous thunderstorms developing during the afternoon. A possible risk of severe weather. And that will roll into this evening with a low of 67 degrees. Chance of rain today, 80%. Chance of rain tonight, 60%. And then for your Thursday, we're going to see some sun, some clouds, possibly a little bit of lingering rain with a high of 84 degrees. And then more rain in the forecast for Friday and into the weekend. Sorry to pass along that bad news. Coming up on the program today, we are going to be very busy. We got NBA to talk about, a crazy first game between the Pacers and the Boston Celtics. A wild start to the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover. Taylor Jenkins speaks about the Memphis Grizzlies offseason and about moves that could be made and things of that nature. Also, we got more fallout from what will probably be a deal soon between the House and the NCAA, although the Group of Fives conferences are having issues with the game plan, so we will discuss that. And the Big 12 and the ACC already passing the resolutions. Louisville police have an announcement about their investigation into Scotty Scheffler. We will discuss that on the program today, and some crazy allegations made by Florida State AD Mike Alford. Coming up at 8:25, Katie Wu will join us to talk some Cardinals. It'll be a long day for her and an earlier day to start, as last night's game was suspended in the 6th inning. They'll play that, and then they'll play the regularly scheduled game, but she is still scheduled to join us at 8:25. We'll talk Grizzlies and NBA playoffs with DeMichael Cole at 9:05, as we do each and every week. And then at 9:30, we'll check in with Andy Sweeney from The Fan in Indianapolis on all things happening in the great city of Indianapolis. And I say great city because I spent a lot of time in Indianapolis over the years. The Pacers, of course, the Indiana Fever, the 500 this Sunday going on in Indianapolis. That's your lineup for today. Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. You can call in at 901-360-8255 or text in at that same number. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready for more rain?
No, I'm not.
Nor am I.
But I did I got a ton of yard work done the last couple of days. Spent a lot of time in the yard, so at least was able to get that done before the rain.
Good for you. Zach, I know you're planning the big concert this weekend. How's everything going with that?
One day at a time, I was having a conversation about you know how you get to like certain games, like for you, like there are like certain games that like kind of get you kind of amped up for, like get you excited about. That's kind of where I'm at, because I know like we're like a couple of days away from it, so Yeah,
you don't want to peak now. You don't want to peak with your excitement. You want to glide in there, and then when it happens, you're as excited as you could possibly be.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to overdo it right now. And we're probably going to overdo it today talking about the Pacers collapse and that they don't have a chance in the series, because none of us thought they had a chance going in. But last night in Boston, the Indiana Pacers had a golden opportunity to strike first in the series. Now, I can't speak for everybody in the world who follows the NBA, but I would imagine collectively they felt that they shot their you-know-what, and that is it. It's over for the Pacers. Last night, Boston rallies to win 133-128 in overtime. Now, the Celtics had a 13-point second-half lead. Were in control. Back came the Pacers. I thought the Pacers played a great basketball game until the final minute of regulation. And then you just knew in overtime Boston would win, and they did, as Jason Tatum took over. But Eli, you don't get opportunities like this too often when you are the big underdog. This isn't Boston seize the moment. Sorry. I know Brown hit the three, which we'll talk about, to send it in overtime. This was the Indiana Pacers absolutely choking one away.
Yeah, I mean, there was numerous opportunities down the stretch to put it away. Turnovers certainly were the killer in the final minute for them. Two huge ones, and they to shoot 53% against Boston, who's one of the best defensive teams. I think they finished second in defensive efficiency to Minnesota. They shot like 60. I think it was 63% on 2-point shots, something like that. And get themselves that opportunity, because they did what they hunted Al Horford and absolutely abused him on the defensive end. Like, he couldn't guard anybody. Celtics really need to get Porzingis back in this series. And did everything they needed to do. Didn't panic when they got down. They hit big shots. But then just a couple of costly turnovers really hurt them. And then once it got into overtime, they didn't have the answer for Jason Tatum. And yeah, it certainly was very much a missed opportunity for them to take a 1-0 series lead.
Offensively, we know Indiana scores a lot of points. That's the type of offense they have. But as you said, the shooting percentage, there weren't a lot of missed opportunities. Siakam was 12 of 23. Nesmith was 6 of 12. How big was he? Turner, 9 of 13. Nembhard hit some huge shots. He was 5 of 10. Halliburton was 8 of 18, including 6 of 14 from 3. Toppin off the bench was great, 6 of 8. T.J. McConnell continuing to do what he has done all postseason, 6 of 11. Those 7 guys, the main 7 guys for that team, all had great shooting percentages. Last minute, they're up 5. And for unexplained reason, Tyrese Halliburton just kind of gets nervous, or he dribbles it off his leg out of bounds for one of the turnovers. And then they had a second turnover. And then in overtime, he dribbles the ball off his leg again and turns it over. So for as good as he was, 25 points, 10 assists, 3 steals, like I said, 6 of 14 from 3, and he was really good, he made critical mistakes. Now, they turned the ball over twice. They give Boston the ball back. Boston's down 3. They still could commit a foul, not allow them to take the 3-point shot. Rick Carlisle, after the game, put the blame on him, but he did say he called for the foul. However, Boston got the ball into the corner to Jaylen Brown so quickly that Siakam decided he wasn't going to try to foul him there and then risk the possibility of a 4-point play. So give credit for Boston's execution, and Jaylen Brown rings the 3 down. So you had 2 turnovers. You didn't foul, up 3. And then that last possession by Indiana, where they had 5.5 seconds to get off a good shot with a half-court inbounds, and Halliburton dribbles into a double team and throws up something crazy. I don't even understand what that was. So this was, a lot of it was on Carlisle. A lot of it was on the players. Some of it was on Halliburton. They had a golden opportunity. They choked it away. There's no other way to explain it, but they choked it away. But, of course, Brown had to bury that big 3 to get it to overtime, and Boston survives. Like I said, in overtime, there was no doubt Boston wasn't going to win that game, and Tatum took over. Jason ends up with 36 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. He was a plus 20. Jaylen Brown had 26 with 7 rebounds, 5 assists. The bigs, the big players, the big names came through once again for Boston, but they should have lost that game.
Well, the whole thing, they kept making the big deal about the not fouling at 3. There was no chance to foul.
Right.
Once the inbounds comes behind the 3-point line, you're not fouling. Like, there's no way you can, unless you do it right on the catch. Like, but once he's got the ball, there's no way you could foul him there. Heck, I actually think he did foul him. I think he fouled him with his face on the arm, but they didn't call that.
On the shot?
Yeah.
By Brown?
There's no... You can't. There's nothing you do. They kept going. They elected not to foul. No, there's not elect not to foul. There was no chance to foul. It was a great play by Boston, and I think Boston knew we need to get this inbounds pass behind the 3-point line. If it comes inside the 3-point line, they're going to foul.
Right.
And they made it. They ran a great play, got the ball outside the 3-point line. And credit Brown. I mean, it's not like he had a wide open look. I mean, he's got Siakam literally right there in his face, and he hadn't made a 3 all night. Until that shot. And so, I mean, it was a great shot. The final possession for Indiana, was a disaster. They didn't get anything. But, and I credit to Rick Carlisle for taking the blame. Yet to not advance the ball before the inbounds play that they had, where they turned it over, made no sense. But also, like, it amazes me when I see NBA teams that can't inbound the basketball.
Right.
And I also don't... And I mean, it's all happening quickly, but, like, I don't know why Siakam tried to save that ball. Like, you weren't going to save it. You might as well let the referees make the call. I mean, it's your hands and Brown's hands are all right there at the same spot. Let them make the call. But it just amazes me when I see NBA teams run inbounds plays and they can't get the basketball in bounds. It's like, come on, you got elite athletes all over the court. Somebody's got to be able to get open to catch an inbounds pass.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But also the Halliburton dribble off his foot or off his leg, whatever it was. I mean, you had nobody around you. The only one around you was a teammate. You did it twice. You did it in overtime as well. I don't even get it. Hold on to the basketball. Get fouled. 2 or 3 times in that fourth quarter, I say to myself, all right, it's over. And then I come back and go, oh, it's not, because they're idiots. And then Boston makes a play. They still got it. All they got to do is get the ball inbound. Oh, my God, they can't get it inbound. All right, Boston, all right, just don't give up a 3, foul. Well, as we just talked about, it was almost impossible to foul. But they give up a 3. Everything that could go wrong went wrong for Indiana. I know these guys are professionals, but I think it's going to be incredibly hard to bounce back from that mentally. Now, game 2s for Boston in the postseason have not been good, but maybe their bad game was game 1 and they still survived and got a W. Like I said, nobody thought Indiana was going to win this series, but it gave everybody hope, especially if they won that first game. Now, can they be competitive in these games? Certainly. But in the end, I would be as shocked as anybody on the face of the earth if they could come back and win the series. But if they had won game 1, at least the conversation was, well, just maybe they'll do it, because they all played well, exceptionally well, until the last minute of regulation. They all did. All the guys that played for Indiana. It was great strategy. It was great execution. It wasn't like Boston was flustered. They just were outplayed by Indiana. Yes, they don't have Porzingis, and they need Porzingis back. But that's one I don't know how you get over. And we'll be talking to Andy Sweeney at 9:30, who covers sports in the city of Indianapolis, get his thoughts on that. I just think it's going to be incredibly hard to bounce back from that debacle.
I'll be interested because Andy's doing his show right now. He'll be off the air by the time he joins us. I'll be interested to see what kind of the reaction is in Indiana, because certainly it is one that it is a missed opportunity for sure. Drew Holiday was awesome last night. I thought Holiday was incredible.
He was. That's why they brought him to Boston.
Last night was a lot of what I thought was perfect Jason Tatum in a lot of ways. Jason Tatum is a weird player to me. He was great in overtime. And so everybody sings his praises because he scored the 10 points in overtime. It was his first time in forever or whatever. Maybe first time ever somebody scored 10 points in an overtime in a playoff game.
Right.
All this other stuff.
But it was Brown and Holiday in the regulation.
Well, at the end of regulation, Jason Tatum did not exist. If Brown doesn't hit that 3 and the Celtics lose, everybody's going to be saying, like, where the hell was Jason Tatum at the end of regulation? He didn't score in the final 9:44 of regulation. He missed 5 straight shots. He made his first, he missed 4 straight shots. He made 2 of his first 3 shots in the fourth quarter. The last one came at 9:44 left. It was off a miss. He got his own rebound, laid it in. And then he doesn't make another shot. He got the one offensive rebound off the Derek White miss and throws up some crazy fadeaway. Like, he has these moments where he's like, you watch him and you're like, dude, like, he's one of the best players in the league. Like, this dude's incredible. Then you have other times where you're like, is Jason Tatum on the floor? Like, what is happening right now? Why is Jason Tatum? I think he settles for threes way too much. But, like, again, if they lose in regulation, everybody today, I think, is blasting Jason Tatum. Like, what was that? Like, where were you? Your team's unraveling here down the stretch. Take over, and he didn't at all. And then instead, in overtime, he does take over, and everybody today is singing his praises like, wow, what a great performance by Jason Tatum.
So that is exactly what I was thinking as I watched the game, and I'm ready to tweet out that maybe Jason Tatum isn't even the go-to guy on the Celtics. Maybe it's Jaylen Brown. And I'm ready to do that. They go to overtime, and he takes control of the game, as you just said. And he takes control of the game in overtime. So I'm like, well, I'm only going to get, I'm going to get people criticizing that tweet. Why am I even going to tweet this now? Because here's Tatum stepping up in overtime. But you're right. I almost tweeted it out because he was non-existent there in the fourth quarter. Now, luckily, they have another star in Jaylen Brown and then Drew Holiday. What you get on the defensive end, we all know. But to add 28 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 of 8 from 3. I mean, he was absolutely tremendous. I'm with you 100% on Tatum. That's why, again, when people rattle off Tatum, He's one of the first names that, when you say best player in the NBA, they rattle off 3-4 guys. Tatum's like 4 or 5. He's right there. They always rattle Tatum. They always throw in his name in that list. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but I don't know. I mean, he seemed non-existent there until the overtime. But anyway, Boston survives, wins at 133 to 128. You know, we keep saying to ourselves that maybe Boston, these bad games in game 2s in the Miami series and in the Cleveland series, we'll see what happens in this series, really a bad, not so much bad, but just they were outplayed in game 1, that maybe it will toughen them for when they inevitably get to the NBA Finals, which I think they'll get a stricter and tougher opponent in Minnesota or Dallas. But Indiana played pretty damn good. They just choked it away in that final minute. So there's not much else you could say about that one.
It still doesn't make sense why Boston struggles at home the way they do in the postseason.
I don't know.
I just don't.
The pressure of playing in front of the Bostonians?
I mean, they are
at the Garden?
Dominant home team during the regular season, and then in the postseasons, they struggle at home. I don't know. I don't understand it. They were below 500 at home last year. That would have been, they almost lost their third home game this year. They haven't lost on the road yet this year. It's just it's strange to see a team that is so good at home during the regular season struggle the way they do in the postseason on their home floor.
One of our topics yesterday was talking about home court, home ice, home field advantage in sports. Is it still a big advantage? And the postseason right now in hockey and the NBA would tell you it's not. And we almost had more fuel for the fire with that game last night, but they ended up pulling it out. Tonight you got the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. They open up the series. That's the one that there's more anticipation for from at least me. I can't speak for anybody else, but hard to top an overtime game 1 between Boston and Indiana, but we'll see. Mavericks at Minnesota with the game scheduled to start at 7:30, and the Mavericks are a 4.5-point underdog. Total is 207.5 for tonight's game number 1. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Hey, you're watching the game tonight. You want some great dinner? You want some great barbecue? Corky's. Where did I go for lunch yesterday? Corky's. You can dine in at any of their 4 establishments. You can deliver or have that delivered to you, your home, your office, through DoorDash or any of the other delivering services. You can drive through, no contact delivery, whether it be the pulled pork, the ribs, the barbecue nachos, delicious wings. Buddy I was with had the wings. Cheese and sausage plates are great. And I always tell you about the rolls that you get at Corky's when you get your entree. They're the best in the city. Great desserts as well. Located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Party packs start at just $7.49. You can add a third of a rack of ribs for $7.99 when you purchase an entree. They have lunch specials every single day. Ask about their private party room at the Cordova or the Olive Branch locations, and you can get that secure for an event you got coming up with your family, with your place of work, or whatever the case may be. Want to get away and have a good time. A little family reunion possibly at Corky's at either the Cordova or the Olive Branch locations. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. They're open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Just underway on a hump day edition of Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Celebrate Memorial Day weekend at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 50% bonus trade-in on all new clubs. Buy any 2 apparel items and receive a 3rd free. And save big on shoes, bags, carts, and travel covers. The more you buy, the more you save. Shop with us this Memorial Day weekend, in-store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning Repair Team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG 510-849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE 780-169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealers only.
I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Mariah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseballs.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to improve a bit at the intersection there at James Road at North Hollywood, where we had that earlier crash. Traffic's increasing just a bit out here the last 15-20 minutes as you come inbound out of Fayette County into Shelby County on I-40 going westbound. They were dodging debris just a couple of minutes ago on 40 eastbound over there, not too far from Covington Pike. Traffic's on the increase even more in the last 15-20 minutes on 55 up through DeSoto County. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Make it Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So baby, dry your eyes. Say all the tears you've cried. What dreams are made of.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:28 is the time. Talk NBA playoffs in segment number 1. I want to talk some Grizzlies now. Taylor Jenkins was at an event yesterday that also included Gigi Jackson. Our buddy Brevin Knight was there. Tony Allen was there, among other dignitaries from the Grizzlies. And he had a little media powwow at the end. And he said which is really an interesting thing. We talked yesterday about the story that has been out there for at least a week now, that changes have already been made to his coaching staff. And Taylor Jenkins said, well, he was talking about philosophical changes that could be made this summer within his staff. And then you had the story from John Hollinger that there will be 3 head coaches that will enter next season on the hot seat: Chauncey Billups, Willie Green, and Taylor Jenkins. And there was some reaction to that, certainly from media, and especially local media. So I don't know. It's kind of a strange story. You're hearing your things. Other people hear their things. We'll talk to Michael Cole at 9:05. If these coaches have already been canned or they haven't, it just seems like nobody wants to say anything with the Grizzlies. And Taylor talked about these changes that could happen. And then people disagree with Hollinger and others who have said that he would be on the hot seat. Now, I said yesterday, if this is accurate, that all these coaches have been fired, then to me that tells me he will absolutely be on the hot seat, because what it's telling me is, I mean, what are you blaming the assistant coaches for last year when it was all injury? It was because of injuries, right? But now all of a sudden there's a philosophical difference? No. I think that it's a move to me that tells the fans we won't accept, it's not only mediocrity, but just downright horrible season. We won't accept that even with legitimate excuses, like injuries, like every damn player was hurt. So we got a difference of opinions here on what has happened or not happened to the coaching staff and whether or not Taylor Jenkins will go into the 24-25 season on the hot seat.
Yeah, I mean, any coach that goes into a season with a team with very high expectations, especially when you haven't accomplished anything yet, to me is on a hot seat. You're under pressure. So, yeah, I think, whether you want to call it how hot that seat is, I don't think it's real hot. Like, I don't think they're going to fire him 10 games into the season. But if they were to get off to a bad start and it wasn't looking good, then, yes, could I see Taylor Jenkins being fired in season? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, 10 games in the last season, they wanted to fire him. I mean, they weren't winning any games and they wanted to fire the guy. But there are people out there that cover the Grizzlies that say they do not believe he is on the hot seat. Drew Hill, a friend of the show, said, I do not believe that Taylor Jenkins is on the hot seat based on those that I have spoken to. I also don't think it lines up with what Hollinger said, which reflected league-wide chatter. Again, Hollinger, who was part of the Grizzlies organization for a number of years, to me, again, if what you've heard and others have reported, that there has been massive changes within the structure of the coaching staff, that's, to me, telling everyone that we can't accept it no matter what. And we're not going to fire the head coach, but we're going to make some changes to show you that we really care to make these changes. And then Taylor comes out yesterday and talks about philosophical changes that could be made. I don't know how much of a difference in philosophy those coaches differentiate themselves from what Taylor Jenkins' philosophy is. I think they're all on the same page. I mean, one of those coaches, if Brad Jones ends up being let go or has been let go or will be let go, may not be let go, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. I guarantee you they're 2 peas in a pod. So, to me, that does say we're not going to accept it. The pressure is on. And I do believe, as much as I have been a backer and will continue to be a backer of Taylor Jenkins, I think he's a hell of a coach. A hell of a coach. I still believe that, yes, I agree with you, that he goes into the season on the hot seat. They got one playoff series win under his leadership. Yes, are there mitigating circumstances? Of course there are. Suspensions, injuries, bad luck, to be honest with you. But after a while, upper management, ownership, you don't accept it. You don't accept it. Even in a small market where you don't want to be paying off several coaches and things of that nature. Money's just not falling. Even though it is falling out of Robert Parra's personal pants, his Grizzlies pants, not so much. Little tighter with the wallet when it comes to that. But yeah, it's a very odd story because you don't often hear stories in big-time professional sports that changes have been made to the coaching staff and then you don't hear about the changes. Or you have people denying that or not coming out right and saying, no, that's not true. Taylor came out and talked about philosophical changes that could be made this summer.
Well, he said we're going through that restructure process, and it's a collaborative effort. As we have more updates, we'll be able to provide those. I don't know why they don't want to announce the moves that, from what I understand, have already been made.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, this is a very secretive organization. Like, let's not act like this isn't an organization that prides itself on being very secretive about everything they do.
That is true.
That's one of the hallmarks of the Grizzlies organization is we don't want to tell anybody anything. We love to keep stuff inside. So it shouldn't be that big of a surprise that they, for whatever reason, want to keep stuff a secret. Again, Taylor Jenkins, I think has done a fine job as the Grizzlies coach. Has he done a great job? I don't think he's done a great job. I don't think he's done a terrible. I think he's done a fine job. He has a very talented roster, when healthy. We'll see if they're able to stay healthy this year. But if they are, there's going to be extremely high expectations. And if it's not going well, then yeah, again, I could certainly see them making a move. I've brought it up many times. There's a lot of people I know that believe that Taylor Jenkins is the Doug Collins of the Grizzlies, who he's a fine coach. He's just not the coach to take them over the top, that somebody else would need to be the guy to do that. I don't know whether he's capable of it or not. But, I don't think they're going to be real patient and waiting to find that out because, as we've talked about the window and all this stuff, like they're not going to, as it goes along, they're not just going to keep, wanting just, okay, we got a little bit better this year. Like they're expecting that this roster can contend for a title and will expect it to be the case if it's healthy. And if Taylor Jenkins isn't contending for a title with them, then I think Taylor Jenkins will be gone.
One more topic before we take our next break. And when we come back, speaking of head coaches, Penny Hardaway had some interesting things to say on the Point Forward podcast, NBA podcast. But this is an interesting question. Awful announcing. They brought this up this morning. And I thought it'd be a cool topic to talk about. Is it acceptable for sports analysts, I would imagine they'll broaden that to sports analysts, sports hosts, play-by-play announcers, whatever, to tout their personal fandom? And my quick answer would be yes, to a certain extent. We're talking about a sports show here that we have each and every weekday. And I think people who are regulars know that you're a Cubs fan, know I'm a Phillies fan. We have fun with that. I think that's fine. There are times that people go overboard, and I certainly do believe guys at ESPN go overboard, from Greeny with his Jets to Stephen A. Smith with his Knicks and his hatred for the Cowboys. It gets a little annoying, and it's a little too much. But again, I think the original premise of, is it unacceptable? No, I think it's fine. Now, if you're doing play-by-play or you're an analyst on a broadcast and it's a national broadcast, you do not show any type of homerism or favorism or anything like that. That you have to keep straight down the line. When I do even ESPN Plus games, which are obviously Memphis produced in the sense that you would think that we would be talking so much more about Memphis than the opponent, we try to do as much as we can to go down the line, to talk positives about both and all that. When I do Tiger basketball games on Plus, same deal. Now, when you do, like you do the showboats, that's, to me, that's different. Or if I do the anything that's local, and it's for that team, I think you're fine. I mean, I wouldn't go as the extreme that the late great Jack Eaton went, calling the refs communists or whatever he did. I mean, he got away with that stuff back in the day. But homerism is fine. It may be annoying, but it's fine to me in that setting. If you're broadcasting for a team, like I'm doing sidelines for Memphis Tigers football on the Tiger Radio Network, that's a different ballgame. But ESPN Plus games, anything I've done in the past on the networks, down the middle. But as far as the talk shows, throwing out who we follow, who we love, I think that's fine. And I think it's fine on ESPN. It's just don't go overboard where it becomes the story and it becomes annoying as hell for the viewers and the listeners. That's my 2 cents.
I mean, again, fandom is a part of sports. I mean, it is what makes sports what it is you have fans that love their teams and may hate other teams because they love that team.
And we can be fans.
That's part of what I mean, and I mean, especially in this role. I mean, it's absolutely. I mean, again, the people that want to complain about the stuff on ESPN with the Knicks game, I don't watch Stephen A. Smith at all. If he's on my TV, I turn it off. So I did not watch any of it. I don't know how bad it was, how much they ignored Indiana or whatever. But I could see where Indiana fans would be annoyed if you're watching your team in a Game 7 and you feel, and again, and fans will also always feel like their team's being ignored.
Slighted, right.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. So how bad it was, I have no idea. I didn't watch it, won't watch it, so I don't know. But if it was all very much just all Knicks based, then I could see where some Indiana fans would get upset with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that.
This hour of our program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Go to biggreenegg.com. Get all the information you need about the Big Green Egg, all the different sizes they have that you can choose from, all the egg accessories as well that could make that Big Green Egg do really whatever you want it to do, whether you're smoking ribs or at 200 degrees for 8 hours or you're cooking a steak for 5 minutes at 700 degrees or anything in between. Heck, baking a cake or making a pizza, whatever you want to do in that Big Green Egg. The versatility is absolutely out of this world. It comes with the lifetime warranty as well. They've got all the different egg accessories, like even sauces and rubs and those types of things that you need for the Big Green Egg. Get biggreenegg.com or head to the Ace Hardware locations around town or Hamilton Fireplace. They are distributors here in Memphis of the Big Green Egg.
Talk some Memphis Tigers basketball, Penny Hardaway specifically, when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Before we get to Penny, one other thing that Taylor said, he talked about the team's injury situation, and as far as he knew and everything from the people in the know within the organization, the doctors, the trainers, and all that told him that everyone is trending in a good direction, that pretty much everybody's healthy, and Ja will fully be ready to go by mid-summer. So good news on the injury front when it comes to the Grizzlies walking wounded.
And good on Taylor, by the way, for once again the donation to the Memphis Shelby County Schools, $20,250. He has the pledge of $10 for every assist that the Grizzlies get throughout the season. So this year that amount, $20,250. So good on him, and good on the Grizzlies again for continuing to do great things in the community with the all the different things with this the raise the rim thing that they're doing, and that's what yesterday was about. The line of the day though came from Gigi Jackson when the little kid said that LeBron James would lock him down. He said, "I hung 31 on him." I told the kid to go look it up.
Kids have no filter, do they?
I love it. I just love. But the funny thing is, like, it's just because I was thinking about this. I'm like, for Gigi's closer. That little kid. That little kid comes up to Gigi's closer to that kid than he is to LeBron James in age.
Exactly.
Which is bizarre, but it's just I love Gigi. Just funny. Like, put 31 on that.
Put 31.
Go look it up.
Hey, you want to go read a comic book with me?
Hey kid, go look it up.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so Penny Hardaway was on the Point Forward podcast hosted by Andre Iguodala, a favorite here in Memphis, and Evan Turner. And he talked about a number of things. First of all, Turner asked him if his job was still fun with the new NIL world we live in. He said, man, I don't know about saying fun. Obviously, happy the guys are getting their name, image, and likeness, getting paid for that. But this thing has turned upside down, to be very honest. It's challenging, no lie. He said it might jump up to $200,000 or $300,000 per player. So we were talking about the numbers and what was rumored from last year's team and what it would take to get David Jones back, things of that nature. Here's him talking about jumping to $200,000 or $300,000. And the one thing about, you talk about not going into interviews without a filter, Penny. That's why I love listening to Penny, because Penny shoots from the hip. So right off the bat, I believe what he's saying there. If he's going, well, it might shoot up to 200 or 300, makes you think, well, maybe they didn't have a player that reached that threshold last year. Not even Quinterly. And then he goes, you start thinking, hey, man, you're not Evan Turner. You're not Andre Iguodala. I don't know about that, bro. To me, there was already an expectation. Now it's even a higher expectation. When I start paying you that much money, you're making more than my assistant coaches. And when you start to think about it, in this world of the NIL, who's more important? And even before the NIL, who's more important, the players or the assistant coaches? It's the players. And now we're seeing that come to fruition. So I guess it's not going to be a shock when the players make more money than his assistant coaches. When it will become a shock is when they make more money than the head coach. And speaking of coaching, Penny Hardaway said that his dream is still to become a coach in the NBA. He said he thinks about it every single day. Says, a dream of mine to coach on the NBA level. I think about it daily. I know I'll have to pay my dues and come in at whatever level, which is fine. But my goal is to coach in the league one day. I don't know when. It could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It could be earlier than that. But I definitely want to do it. So as much as he wants to win a national title at Memphis, at his alma mater, and there's no question that he's been all in, they haven't had the success that he would have liked, would have hoped. But to me, it seems like if a team calls him up, now I guess it would depend on the situation and where they are and all that. But if a team called him up and said, hey, we want you on the first row as an assistant coach, Penny Hardaway could leave. I mean, he thinks about it daily. Now, players think about going to the league daily. So I guess it's par for the course that the coaches in certain situations think about that as well. I don't think that has affected his coaching philosophy or anything he's done with the Tigers, but I didn't know it was that much of an emphasis in his life to get to the next level sooner than later. Again, he doesn't give a timetable. Could be 5, could be 10, could be sooner. So I wonder if, turned around and a new coach came in, J.J. Redick, and said, hey, I want Penny on the bench for the Lakers. Would he go? Just speculation. I'm not saying that.
I got newsflash for him. Those players will be making a lot more than the assistant coaches.
That's true. But again, nobody's thought about that because even though there was the people that wanted him fired last year, most people certainly don't, and they can't even visualize him leaving and who would come in next to take over the reins of that program. First things first is to complete this roster this year, to have a great season next year, make everybody happy, and then see what happens in the future. But if that's what Penny wants, I'm rooting for him to one day get that opportunity. And I think he will. I think he certainly will, at least as an assistant coach. No question in my mind. That's a little surprising, isn't it?
It's surprising that he
thinks about it every day.
I did not know that he wanted to be an NBA coach. I don't know what Penny wants or whatever. But no, I mean, to hear him say that that's something that he really wants to do, that certainly is interesting. We'll see what happens. Right now, he needs to accomplish what he set out to do at the University of Memphis because he hasn't come close yet.
Let me squeeze in Tony before we take a break. He's on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, our buddy Tony. Hey, Tony.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks, Tony.
You know, I don't know why this is a surprise to people because it's something that he said when he first took the job at University of Memphis. So, I mean, I know that, you know, it might offend some people because some people are still offended this day that John Calipari left Memphis to go to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
But, which I don't understand. Like I said, you know, when they were getting ready to celebrate Cal, you had people want to throw gasoline on the university. But, I mean, we had some very good years under John Calipari. But as far as Penny is concerned, you know, actually I think his offense will work a little better probably on the pro level than it would on the college level. But at any rate, I mean, you know, at some point it's going to have to come to an end, you know, and I hope he leaves like that, you know, other than some people want to send him out the door now. So,
yeah,
you know,
I don't think he's infatuated where it affects what he's doing here. But the surprising part, Tony, was that he said he thinks about it daily as opposed to he's interested. We knew he was interested, like you said, in the NBA, but every day thinking about it makes you wonder a little bit. Man, has he got one foot out the door already?
Right, but I think the most informative thing was when he was talking about the microsurgery and how it, you know, basically ended his career. I mean, so, of course, you know, I mean, you get a taste of that league up there, you want to excel on all levels, but I don't think he would leave here until he's satisfied on what he's doing here because he has a lot of unfinished business. Now, that's the one thing I can agree with Eli on, you know, when it comes to Penny. You know, other than that, you know, I guess the only other thing I disagree with Eli on is about Brett Favre.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Yeah, what Tony was alluding to, if you missed this interview, was the microfracture, which he had that surgery, whatever it's called, that they don't have anymore. They don't do these types of surgeries anymore. And Penny, and he's not alone. There's other NBA players that went through this, and it derailed their careers. And he thinks that surgery definitely derailed his career. If he was playing today and injured his knee, there would be different ways that they would take care of that knee, different maybe non-invasive procedures to take care of his knee. And who knows that Penny's career could have been prolonged and could have been an even better career. Obviously, he was great for a while there before he got hurt. But he talked about the frustration, and there's probably some truth to what he's saying.
Oh, I mean, obviously, the medicine is way better now than what it was then. So certainly, I would assume that yes, if it was today, he would probably have been able to get some more years out of his career.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we got some topics to get to, including the latest as far as Scottie Scheffler's arrest is concerned in Louisville, and more news over the big House versus NCAA lawsuit. Are we getting closer to a settlement? We'll talk about that. Katie Wu joins us at 8:25, 9 o'clock. DeMichael Cole at 9:05. Andy Sweeney on the Pacers, the Fever, and all things Indianapolis at 9:30. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, mark it down, Mike Norvell will join us, the Florida State head coach, at 9:30, plus UFC fighter Danny Barlow among our guests on the Thursday edition. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Come join your Memphis Showboats for our annual Hats Off to Heroes game on Sunday, May 26th at 1:30. All game long, we'll be honoring military members, first responders, healthcare workers, and teachers. If that's not enough to get to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, then we'll also throw in a free grill spatula with an etched Showboats logo while supplies last. On top of all this, tickets start at just $10 and are available at theufl.com. Memphis versus DC, Sunday, May 26th at 1:30. Go Boats! Memorial Day weekend is coming, which means many folks will be grilling. And if you're firing up the grill this weekend or any weekend, there's one place to go for everything you need: Memphis Barbecue Supply. You need charcoal? They have 10 different brands of either lump or briquette charcoal. Pellets? How about over 2 tons in stock, 12 different flavors and blends. Looking for wood for smoking? Memphis Barbecue Supply has 9 different types of wood in chips, chunks, mini logs, and logs. You can even mix and match your wood from their bins of loose chunks. Whatever it is that you're grilling, steaks, ribs, burgers, pork butts, you name it, they have over 378 different rubs, sauces, injections, and raw spices to make sure your food tastes great. If you have any questions, they have award-winning pitmasters on staff that can help ensure that your cook will be the best ever. Memphis Barbecue Supply, 7041 Stage Road, or online, mbbqsupply.com.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's Cool Cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or Cool Cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
This traffic report brought to you by Appliance Liquidators with low prices and top-notch customer service. Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic's running slow now. Coming off Billmore, Parkway 385, trying to get on to 240 westbound as they clean up an accident on 240 westbound right before you get to Mount Moriah. Now, there's also a crash in the Midtown area. It's northbound on 240 right at South Parkway as traffic increases in that area there, Midtown, at this time of the morning anyway. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time, hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings for this Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 77 degrees. We'll get up to 80 today, so not much warmer, but the rain is coming if it hasn't already started in your neck of the woods. Showers, thunderstorms expected. A few storms may be severe. There's a possible risk of severe weather today, as I just mentioned. A chance of rain now. It says 100%. We're getting it. Then tonight, variable cloudy, 67 for a low, and 70% chance of rain. That will continue into Thursday. Looks like some rain for Friday and Saturday as well, depending upon what Mother Nature wants to do to us. James Gaddis Jewelers, second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. They're your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick. On the web at gaddisjewelers.com. If you're getting engaged or planning to get engaged this summer, you're looking for that special ring, head on over to James Gaddis Jewelers. Look, there's a number of jewelers you're going to check out. James, well, he has the resume. He's a master jeweler, certified appraiser. He's a diamondologist. He's graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. All the credentials you want in a fine jeweler, an experienced jeweler, a jeweler that will steer you in the right direction. Plus, they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. So whether it's a $2,000 diamond ring or a $50,000 diamond ring, they have it for you at James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Have you seen this story? Supposedly, this alleged incident happened in October, and I hadn't heard. Maybe they kept it quiet. A North Carolina mother is suing the Charlotte Hornets and not only LaMelo Ball, but the Charlotte Hornets after the team star guard allegedly struck her son with his vehicle during an attempt to obtain Ball's autograph in October. Did you see this story?
I saw that, about the lawsuit. I didn't think about it before.
I mean, had you heard that before?
No.
Nor did I. So supposedly the kid was trying to get the autograph. He's in his car, and then he just took off, shot out of a cannon, and rolled over his foot. You would think that would be a story like that day. They would probably go to the press. They would probably go to the TV stations. But I don't know. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it is quite interesting. LaMelo Ball and the Hornets being sued by a North Carolina mother. Last night, what a start to the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover, Alabama. The final game was the best game. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, the Egg Bowl on the baseball diamond. The 5-seed Mississippi State, the 12-seed Ole Miss. The Rebels had a 1-0 lead going into the 9th. And a walk-off 2-run home run wins it for Mississippi State, eliminating Ole Miss.
Yeah, it was that the 9th inning was they get the leadoff walk, and then a pass ball gets the guy to second as the tying run. They get a big strikeout of a really good hitter, and then a hard hit ground ball that looked like it was going to right field that would score the run, at least tie the game. And Will Furnace down at first makes a great play for the second out of the inning, and thinking, okay, maybe Ole Miss is still going to escape with the win. And then Connor Hyzak came up and just hit an absolute laser on the first pitch to win it. I mean, I don't know, like, how it gets much better than that if you're Isaac to hit a walk-off 2-run home run when you're down by 1, 2 outs in the inning, and it beats your arch rival and ends their season. Like if you draw it up, I don't know what more you can do in that situation to have that fit. Unless I guess you'd be down 3 and you hit a grand slam. Like that'd be the only thing that makes it any better. But like that is about as perfect a scenario as a baseball player at Mississippi State probably could draw up.
Yeah, the only thing that would top that is that same scenario to win the conference tournament championship game or to win the College Baseball World Series. But that's way up there to do what he did. In the meantime, Mike Bianco, friend of the show, asked after the game about his future. He said he plans to be back. You know, Keith Carter has the ultimate decision, but he plans to be back for a 25th season at the helm at Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. Back-to-back seasons under 500.
After winning it all, though.
Yeah, I mean, they won it all, but that year, 95% of the season wasn't very good. They got into the tournament as the last team in the tournament.
Still they won it.
So does 3 weeks, do you consider that 3 weeks, or do you consider basically the last 3 seasons?
I consider the 3 weeks. It's just like if you're a Marlins fan.
So how long does that championship get you?
Well, it doesn't get
That's the question.
It doesn't get you carte blanche where you're the coach for the rest of your life. But I was going to use an example. Marlin fan, there's probably 6 of them out there, but you'll trade bad years, I would imagine a bunch of them, for 2 World Series titles. So you're going to trade a couple of bad years for a College Baseball World Series title. But I understand your point. Mike's not a spring chicken anymore. He's the second all-time winningest coach in SEC baseball history. And I'm not sure what his contract situation is. Do you know?
I'm not exactly sure. Well, I mean, they gave him and I don't know. Again, they've got the 4-year deal in Mississippi, all that stuff. So I don't know exactly what the whole situation is.
I wouldn't increase
after the championship.
Yeah, I wouldn't increase anything. But if he's got, assuming he's got a year or 2 left on his contract, you play it out.
Because the year they won the College World Series, I believe that was the last year of his contract. So I think then he got the new one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing he got a 4-year deal. I don't think they didn't do anything last year. So it's an interesting decision for Keith Carter. I think I would say the majority of Ole Miss fans want him gone. But what direction they will go, I have no idea. I mean, obviously, baseball is very important at Ole Miss. You know, they're doing another stadium renovation for next year.
Really?
They're putting millions of dollars more into that stadium.
It's already a great stadium.
To create more seating. Back-to-back under 500 seasons is not going to be acceptable for that fan base. Again, I don't know I have no idea what Keith Carter will do.
Elsewhere in Hoover, and again, yesterday, the first round elimination games. Now you go into a double elimination situation. The 5 over the 12, Mississippi State over Ole Miss, and you had the 8 over the 9 in Vanderbilt doubling up Florida 6-3. The other 2 games were upsets if you look at the seed, the number next to the team. You had number 11 LSU taking down number 6 Georgia 9-1, and you had number 10 South Carolina doubling up number 7 Alabama 10-5.
Yeah, today you'll get LSU Kentucky kicking things off at 9:30, followed by South Carolina Arkansas, Vanderbilt and Tennessee, and Mississippi State Texas A&M. And now everything is double elimination from here on out. So no elimination games today among those 4 games.
Tennessee's the 1, Arkansas's the 2, Kentucky's the 3, A&M's the 4. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. From the American Conference Tournament, just one quick note. Obviously, Memphis did not qualify. The number 1 seed, East Carolina, was down 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th. They proceeded to score 12 straight runs, the biggest inning in the history of the American Conference Tournament, and they went on to beat Rice 12-4. Okay. Tomorrow, I mentioned that Mike Norvell's going to join us. We'll have UFC fighter Danny Barlow, Steve Berkowitz as well, and I'm really looking forward to this. Steve is very knowledgeable. He's from USA Today, and he'll break down what's going on with this complicated, convoluted Big 12, not Big 12, but House versus NCAA lawsuit. Now, the Big 12 yesterday became the first party in this lawsuit, in this case, to vote to settle the case and related antitrust causes. They unanimously approved it. And then later, the ACC passed it as well. So you have 2 of the 4 power conferences. The problem is going to be with the group of 5 conferences. They don't feel like they're getting a great deal, that they're getting the raw deal. And I don't know if this will pass, if they'll have to tweak. But you have 2 of the power conferences accepting this latest proposal.
Yeah, all of the reporting seems to believe that it will probably, again, because they really don't have much choice. Fighting it doesn't. We know the NCAA's record in court cases. You can't go to court. You have to settle it. They lose every time. And it doesn't seem like, again, maybe those smaller conferences, the non-FBS conferences can try and fight this, but we know how that's going to go. Well, they have very little say. They're going to lose. So I'm going to guess that probably the way it is right now in the current settlement form probably ends up being the way it happens.
We had Jeff Crane on yesterday talking about just how different it's going to be in the future. And I think some schools and their athletic programs, I'm not going to say the athletic program completely will go belly up, but some schools will probably lose sports. Where's the money coming from? We'll get, again, more of a clarification, although it's still a little muddied and it hasn't been resolved just yet. But we'll get more of an understanding from Steve Berkowitz. I think it'll be very educational for everybody tomorrow, and that'll be at 8:05. Florida AD Mike Alford yesterday insinuated that ESPN knew ahead of time who the 4 playoff teams were going to be, and that they knew Florida State hadn't made it because of the fact that Marty Smith was covering Alabama and that Harry Lyles, was covering Florida State. Because the big gun, I guess he considers Marty Smith a big gun and Harry Lyles a small gun. That's how he knew that they weren't getting in. Now, this is something I won't bring up with Mike Norvell. I'll spare him that when he comes on the show tomorrow. But somebody pointed out, I think it might have been Dan Wolken, that no, we knew when your quarterback broke his leg or whatever the case was, that's when you weren't making the playoff. I'm shocked that he said something like that.
At this point, Florida State probably should just let it go. It is what it is. I don't know what you're going to.
They're not going to play the playoff over again, right? From last year? Is that not going to happen?
They could take in the NCAA to court and maybe win there, but other than that, that's about it. I don't know. I don't know why continuing to rehash anything about it makes any sense for Florida State at this point.
By the way, Harry Lyles is very good, and he's up and coming. And I know Marty Smith is very good, but I just don't get the whole thing with Marty Smith. I just don't get that whole country shtick thing. Like, certain things I understand. Like, I shouldn't say this, but kind of stick to your lane. Sometimes he's doing an interview and you go, I don't get it. I don't know why they have him out there. He's banging out one on the NASCAR track. Okay, I get it. College football. I know that's his lane. But, and then I guess if you think about it, Alabama makes more sense for him with the SEC. But I don't know. I just think that he is
delusional if he thinks he knows why, and that's the reason why. Because a certain reporter was not there and at a different place.
That's just dumb. I mean, quite frankly, but because I like Marty Smith. I think Marty Smith does a fine job, but Marty Smith,
he's very intelligent. It's just
covers the SEC. Like that's the big part of what he does is the SEC. So it would make much more sense to have Marty Smith at the ACC or SEC school rather than the ACC school. Like, and if they would have had Harry Styles at Florida State, I would have been much more interested. I'm more of a Harry Styles guy than a Harry Lyles guy. But that's just my personal opinion on it. But I like the idea of that determined. ESPN might have had a guess of who was going to get in, and may have wanted Marty. But even if ESPN thought Florida State was getting in over Alabama, Marty Smith probably would have still bet at Alabama. Good, he covers the SEC. He like that's whatever.
Do you think for a second
we've already wasted way too much time talking about Florida State's dumb accusation?
Do you think for a second ESPN, other than just seconds before it's revealed, or maybe not even until it's revealed, that they don't know, right? You don't believe that they know way ahead of time, do you?
No, I don't think so either. The only people. I think the guys on set find out literally when it comes up. Obviously, the graphics people. There are people that get the information earlier because they got to make the graphics and do all that stuff. But I think the people on set and that see it when it comes up, just like everybody else.
Now, I do believe Nick Cannon knows who the person is that they're unmasking on The Masked Singer. I do believe he knows that way ahead of time. But as far as this is concerned, I don't believe ESPN knows. And then very quickly, one other note before we take the break and Katie Wu joins us. Louisville police yesterday, this came, by the way, from the mayor, Craig Greensburg, that the Louisville police will investigate whether its officials followed proper protocols when the number one player in the world, Scottie Scheffler, was arrested. Yesterday, of course, the arraignment was delayed. Now they're going to take a look at this. They're going to huddle, and then they're going to talk amongst themselves. And then Monahan's going to call the mayor, and the mayor's going to, and then they're going to drop it. So think about that, because that's what's coming down the pike. Katie Wu's also coming down the pike. She joins us next to talk some Cardinals and Major League Baseball. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6, P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jimmy Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out with Corky.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jimmy Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out with Corky.
Set your alarm. Memorial Day doorbusters are here at Lowe's. Save big on a Master Forge 3-burner gas grill for just $99. Plus, save over $500 on a Whirlpool top-load laundry pair, now only $896. Beat the rush for these limited-time deals before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 5/27. Appliance offer valid on items 782472 and 670009. Price includes all discounts while supplies last.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. An earlier Act 240 westbound near Mount Moriah has slowed down that traffic this morning coming inbound on 385 Biltmore's Parkway approaching 240. They're also trying to clear a wreck up in Midtown on 240 north there at Lamar as traffic builds in the Midtown area this time of the morning. There's still some volume over here at times on 240 east up by Poplar. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. Make it Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:25. Make that 8:25. Sorry, 8:25 the time. Hour 2 here on the program. It's already been a busy morning. It's going to be a busy morning and afternoon for the St. Louis Cardinals as they got to finish off the game from last night that was suspended, play the regularly scheduled game. That means a longer day for our next guest. We are very pleased to be joined again by Katie Wu. She covers the Cardinals, writes for the Athletic, Major League Baseball. You can follow her on Twitter at Katie J. Wu. Yeah, your morning already started off early by coming on with us, Katie. Now it got a lot earlier as well with the suspension and from last night that has to be finished up before the regularly scheduled game. So a long day for you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I think I maybe need to talk to the baseball gods because I've gotten an absurd rain delay every homestand. And then this week alone, we've had a 12:05 game start and an 11:05 or 11:15 game start. And I personally feel like I don't deserve that, but I guess the baseball gods feel otherwise. So I'm going to have to start talking to them. But either way, happy to be joining you all on the show.
The good news is for the Cardinals that since the last time we spoke to you, they have seemed to turn things around somewhat. I think they hit rock bottom when I was in St. Louis. I went up there for the 3-game series against the White Sox. They lost 2 out of 3, and people were coming out of the crevices. I'm a Phillies fan, Katie. I'm from that area, so I'm used to the booing. I'm not used to it at Cardinals games, and they were booing profusely. That seemed to be rock bottom. Right now, it seems like they have figured something out. What has changed?
Yeah, I think the White Sox series was the beginning of what was a very dangerous slide for St. Louis. They did not get any better after that series. And I thought they were in pretty dangerous territory in Milwaukee a week after because they, at that point, had lost 7 straight and were 1 game from being 10 games under 500. And, guys, as you know, anytime a team approaches the 10 games under 500 mark in May, it is usually not good. But to the Cardinals' credit, they seem to have a wake-up moment at the exact time they needed to. They've been playing much better baseball over the last week and a half. And honestly, it comes down to the offense. And, those who have followed the Cardinals since the beginning of the season know that the offense was not great in April. And most of the key contributors, we're thinking Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Gorman just weren't clicking. There was virtually not even any power, but any production in general. So we've seen guys take a lot better at bats. Obviously with Wilson Contreras out for the foreseeable future, some young guys had to step up. So you're seeing really good at bats from Alec Burleson. He's kind of cemented himself as the number 5 hitter going forward, at least for now. Ivan Herrera, Wilson Contreras' backup, is starting almost every day. He's been putting together some good at bats. And Lars Nootbaar looks like he's working some better counts. Nolan Gorman seems to have found the power again. You're still waiting for the power from Goldschmidt and Arenado to come more consistently. But overall, the quality of at-bats from the Cardinals 1 through 9, Mason Wynn, Michael Ciani, who would have thought that those two would be supplying most of the offense? Those guys have really been key in this drive here for the Cardinals, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, like with Wilson Contreras going out, it felt like that could be doomsday. And the idea that this has kind of changed since he went out makes it even more bizarre.
It certainly felt like doomsday, not just because of the nature of the accident. It was such a freak injury, but because Contreras was, in my opinion, the most valuable position player at the time on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
His improvements he made defensively were night and day, and he was, again, the Cardinals' best overall hitter. But, things happen throughout a season, and when you lose a key player like that, there's usually two responses. You can kind of give up, which I didn't really see the Cardinals doing, but you can also kind of come to your senses. And I think it took the Cardinals a couple of days to kind of realize, okay, we lost him for a good while. We have to figure out how to produce without him. But to their credit, a lot of these young guys, again, have stepped up. You're thinking Burleson. You're thinking Mason Wynn, Michael Ciani. Like, these guys have really come up and filled the void offensively that's without Contreras. And I think this team is in a remarkably better place than it was 2 weeks ago, because honestly, 2 weeks ago, it looked like it was going to be a pretty scary time.
Katie Wu joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. You need to follow her if you're a Cardinals fan, especially on Twitter at Katie J. Wu. I do so, and I keep up with the Cardinals and what's going on with them through Katie. And I saw the other day when Sonny Gray was on the hill, when he left the hill and went to the dugout, it seemed like there may have been an injury, and you weren't speculating, but you said you were going to find out more on that. What have you found out about that, and is there anything to be concerned about?
Right. So the thing about new pitchers coming to an organization is, we're learning about their little personality traits and how they compete in the same time fans are. So it looks to me on Monday that Sonny Gray, after, he'd thrown nearly 30 pitches in the sixth inning, and it was scorching at Busch Stadium that night. It looked to me that he had motioned for Ollie Marmol to come get him out of the game. And, of course, when you are thinking about Sonny Gray, you think about that hamstring strain that he suffered in spring training. Now, I'm never going to speculate on injuries, so I just pointed out that, hey, it looks like Sonny asked to be taken out of this game or motioned for Ollie Marmol to come get him. Let's circle back and see what he says. And I actually thought it was a really insightful answer from Sonny. He said, I'd pitched coming into that game 5 no-hit innings. All of a sudden, I have 30 pitches in one inning, 25 of them high stress, and I just hit a wall. At that point, it was time for someone else to come over and from the bullpen and take over because I had nothing left. And I thought that kind of insight was refreshing. I thought it was refreshing to have an ace pitcher be honest. And, while I understand why pitchers never want to leave a game, I thought he put his team in the best position to win by telling his manager, hey, if you leave me out here, I don't know how much else I can give you. And I actually thought that was probably the best decision the Cardinals could have made, and it helps us learn a little bit more about who Sonny Gray is as a pitcher. He's not afraid to be honest. He's not afraid to say, hey, I don't have it in me to get through this next at-bat, or if I do this, I'm putting the team in a bad spot. As much as I want to keep pitching, it's best for the team if I get out of this matchup. And you can see Ollie kind of looking as that goes down, and he's looking for Sonny to come get him. So we're also already seeing the trust between those two. So no injuries for Sonny Gray, just fatigue, and when you think about those 25 high-stress pitches in the sixth inning, certainly makes sense. But I thought it was more so interesting to see how Sonny Gray operates as a pitcher.
Unique.
He's been terrific. What's the feeling on the rest of the rotation right now?
Yes, here's where we're going to get into the Cardinals still haven't fixed all of their problems talk, because as of right now, they have 4 starting pitchers, and they have no viable option for number 5, not just at their 26-man roster, not just in their 40-man roster, not just in AAA. Within their whole organization, the Cardinals do not know how they're going to replace Steven Matz, who's on the injured list for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks, if not more, with a protruding disc in his lower back. That is an organizational malpractice to me, because I'm not sure at this point at 21 and 26 how the Cardinals can be affording to punt every fifth day by just naming whoever they can as their fifth starter. Matthew Liberatore has filled in that role, and I think they put him in an unfair position. This has nothing to do with Libby. This is not a mark against him. I think he's done really well as a reliever this year. I also think he does have the ability to start when he's set up to do so successfully. Right now, Libby is bouncing from maybe we need him in the bullpen to nope, he's definitely starting in the next 2 days. And it's been that way for the last 3 weeks. That's just not a feasible way to use not just a player, but your whole team. So the rest of the rotation, Sonny Gray, good. Kyle Gibson, good. Lance Lynn, excellent last night. You're going to get consistency from Miles Michaelis. But I don't believe it's feasible for the Cardinals to continue rolling out just those 4 guys and hoping that they can find a need to fill in their 5th guy. The more they put out Matthew Liberatore, the more they put Libby in a bad spot, the more they put themselves in a bad spot. They don't have a 5th starter, guys. It's by far their biggest problem, and it's, to me, my biggest issue on how I can't fully buy into this team's surging back just yet, because it's too glaring of a problem to just ignore.
All right, so along that topic, and we saw Libby here in Memphis pitch, you don't feel there's anybody right now in Memphis that's capable of getting that call up and becoming the 5th starter? And if not, they, I assume, in your opinion, need to go into the market for the trade deadline and make some type of move.
It's not necessarily that I don't think there's anyone in AAA. I don't think my opinion matters too much here. It's the organization's opinion. Zach Thompson, this is his spot. When they sorted out the roster in spring, Zach Thompson was the spot starter for things like this. But Zach Thompson lost his velocity over the offseason and is working in Memphis right now to get it back. He's not ready to come back. He's stretched out from a pitch count perspective, but the Cardinals are struggling with, is it best to rush him up and hope that he's figured it out and, further delay some development? Same question with Andre Palante, who's also stretched out to start, and the Cardinals would like to see what he could do in the starter's role, but he's not all the way there in terms of fine-tuning the pitches that he needs to see success against right-handed batters. So it's the same question. Do we rush this guy up out of need and further delay his development? There's pitching prospects in AAA. Sure, you're thinking Gordon Graceffo, you're thinking Michael McGreevy. Their numbers don't warrant a call-up at this time, although Graceffo has looked better as of late. Sam Bursa is also an intriguing name. You guys are familiar with all of these names, but it's the same question. Do we rush someone's development out of need? We've seen the Cardinals do this with so many pitchers, and I do think, to their credit, that's a habit they're trying to break, but it does put their major league spot in a terrible hole. At the same time, I also understand does it also help the major league team to rush someone up who's not ready? No. Then it puts, again, both the player and the team in a bad spot, similar to what they're seeing with Libby. So the alternative is, of course, to look outside of the organization. Too early to make a trade. No team is going to really make a trade of substance here, which means the Cardinals look to the waiver wire. And there aren't many options out there. I think the two off the top of my head are Brad Keller and Eric Lauer. Not exactly two names that, you're going to feel super confident about, but hey, they're arms and they're developed, so you don't necessarily risk messing up what they are in the future. But waiver claims are tricky. I'm not quite sure where the Cardinals stand on either of those guys, if they even have interest. But to me, it's pretty clear that they have a problem with their number 5 starter, and they should address it sooner rather than later because, again, they're not in the position right now, based on where they are in the record, to punt on games.
Obviously, we're still technically very early in the season, but and things are improving now. But where do you think the Cardinals fit in the Central Division?
Well, I'm not sure where they fit in baseball in general, because I think we're seeing the elite teams, right? The Dodgers, the Braves, the Phillies, and then a significant drop-off in talent where you have all of these teams hovering right in between 80, 85 wins. And that's where I see the Cardinals. I see the Brewers as the best team in the division right now. I think the Cubs, what they have with Shota Imanaga is certainly maybe the only reason why they are still up near the top of the standings. The Pirates have some nasty arms coming up, but I still think they're a little bit away, and I'm still not sure what to make of the Reds. But the good news for Cardinals fans is this division is very much still in play. And the way that baseball looks right now, you win 85 games, 88 games, you have a chance to make the playoffs. Now, we could have a further discussion about whether or not that's good for the game. But for the Cardinals, this is the year where, John Mozeliak usually shoots for 90 wins, but after coming off such a bad season last year, you get to 85 and you have a shot to get in the postseason. I think that's overall certainly not what the fans want, but a win for the organization. And you can make the argument that their expectations should be a lot higher, and I agree with you. But given where they were last season, I do think this makes sense. So the thing that is going in the Cardinals' favor is that they slumped early. It's better to slump early than late. They've always been a second-half team since I've covered them. I do think they'll make a run to be in contention in this division. But again, that's not saying too much for their overall talent, because 85 wins can get you in this year.
I have no idea how often Mo talks to you guys, but I'm wondering if any recent conversations he's addressed kind of the Jordan Walker situation and the progress he's making in Memphis.
He has not, but Ollie Marmol has, and that's mainly just because we haven't asked Mo about it. Jordan Walker's numbers look good on paper in Memphis. It is his birthday today, by the way, so happy birthday, Jordan Walker. But when they optioned him, it wasn't just a, hey, get your numbers up and we're going to call you back up. It's a, hey, there are some serious flaws in your swing, and it's going to be a little bit before we call you back up because there are some changes you need to make. So when I'm looking at Jordan Walker, when the organization is looking at Jordan Walker, we're not looking at the average. We're not looking at, how often he's getting on base. We're looking at how he's doing so. How is he making contact? What does his swing look like? Is he getting balls in the air? Is the ground ball rate decreasing? Is he laying off the slider low and outside? He doesn't have any homers yet in Memphis, which is a little bit of a concern considering he is supposed to be a power hitter for St. Louis. But overall, the swing is in that process of changing. So the numbers look good, but I still think it's going to be a little bit before we see Jordan Walker back in St. Louis, because the Cardinals, the last thing they want to do is call him back up before he's ready and have him continue to struggle at the major leagues knowing that swing isn't all the way right.
So Lars lost his mind a little bit last night, huh?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that from Lars before, but my favorite thing about that interaction was Paul Goldschmidt, because you can hear Lars on the field mic in the broadcast. You can hear him chirping at Mike Estabrook, the home plate umpire, and you can see Paul Goldschmidt hear it in real time and try to call timeout, try to call a distraction, try to save his teammate, and it's just too late because as Paul Goldschmidt motions for time, Estabrook tosses out Newbar, and you can see Goldschmidt kind of just drop his head and shake it like I tried my best. So he will not be eligible for the final 3.5 innings today in game 1.5, whatever you want to call it, but he will be eligible to play in game 2.
Well, long day for you, long day for the Cardinals. Finish up the game from last night, then play the regularly scheduled game. But we're so happy that Katie was able to join us. She is Katie Wu. She covers the Cardinals, writes for the Athletic Major League Baseball about the Cardinals, and she's terrific at doing that. You can follow her on Twitter at Katie J. Wu. Katie, thanks again. Really appreciate it. Talk to you down the road.
You got it, guys. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Good on New. I mean, it works out well for him. A suspended game. I guess he can sleep in. Like, yes. I don't need to be there for the first game, guys. I'll see you when we
call me when the game ends.
I'll see you when we play the game that I can actually do something in.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not going to show up just to hang out in the clubhouse while you guys play a game. Like, I'll be snoozing away. Good luck to you, though.
He's starting to find his groove a little bit, but man, he was so bad earlier in the year when I was there for that series against the White Sox. Lars was hitting, I want to say, about $180. And you still heard, like, Newt, they're doing the Newt. I mean, in Philadelphia, they'd be like, boo, and it would definitely be boos. They wouldn't be Luton. Well, they might be Luton, depending on the situation.
That's Newton.
Yeah.
Not looting.
No, I know. I got the two together there.
Coming up this weekend, of course, it is Memorial Day weekend. Holiday weekend means, and the kind of the unofficial kickoff of summer means folks are going to be out grilling. And if you need supplies, you want to know where to go. That's Memphis Barbecue Supply. Let me give you don't wait till like Saturday to go rushing in there and get your supplies. Get there early, get your stuff, get it taken care of, because Jimmy, I always talk about it. People wait till the last minute, come flocking in, wanting everything. And listen, they get bombarded on these weeks leading up to holidays. So they're fighting for their lives over there to keep stuff in stock, everything else, and dealing with a lot of people. But they've got your charcoal, they've got your wood, they've got your rubs, sauces, injections, spices, all your other supplies, anything you need, pans, tools, whatever you need to hit that grill and make that great holiday grilling experience. They've got it for you at Memphis Barbecue Supply. 10 different brands of charcoal, lump, and briquette. 9 different species, types of wood, all different kinds. Chips, chunks, mini logs, logs. They've got 378 different rubs, sauces, injections, and raw spices. And they got a great staff there to help you and answer any questions that you might have. Memphis Barbecue Supply is at 7041 Stage Road, 7041 Stage Road. You can also find them online, mbbqsupply.com. That's the website, Memphis Barbecue Supply.
Collierville High School has been in the news for a lot of things lately. Most of those things not good, not in a good light, but they did get some news yesterday, some positive news yesterday. We'll talk about the latest in one of their situations where allegations of racism have been raised. We'll tell you about what happened after the TSSAA did their investigation. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Memorial Day weekend is coming, which means many folks will be grilling. And if you're firing up the grill this weekend or any weekend, there's one place to go for everything you need: Memphis Barbecue Supply. You need charcoal? They have 10 different brands of either lump or briquette charcoal. Pellets? How about over 2 tons in stock, 12 different flavors and blends. Looking for wood for smoking? Memphis Barbecue Supply has 9 different types of wood in chips, chunks, mini logs, and logs. You can even mix and match your wood from their bins of loose chunks. Whatever it is that you're grilling, steaks, ribs, burgers, pork butts, you name it, they have over 378 different rubs, sauces, injections, and raw spices to make sure your food tastes great. If you have any questions, they have award-winning pitmasters on staff that can help ensure that your cook will be the best ever. Memphis Barbecue Supply, 7041 Stage Road, or online, mbbqsupply.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, save $8 on a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only. We'll even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We got a text from Ron. Talk about Scotty Scheffler.
Mm-hmm.
Text says, it pays to be rich and famous.
It does.
Yes, Ron, it does.
Although it's not been dropped yet, I just believe it will. And you're right. It does pay.
It's in most every situation, as a matter of fact, it pays to be rich and famous.
And it pays, in Diddy's case, to have statute of limitations.
You may not be able to buy love, but you can buy a lot of things.
TSSAA determined there were no grounds to sanction Collierville High School after an investigation conducted by Collierville schools into allegations of racist and disrespectful behavior at a middle school track meet earlier this month. So again, the Collierville school system was the one investigating Collierville High School. Okay. TSSAA Executive Director Mark Reeves wrote in a May 20th letter to Collierville Schools Superintendent Russell Dyer that based on an investigation led by the school district, we see no reason to take any action toward Collierville High School. It goes on to say, the Collierville Schools investigation concluded that although it was discovered there was some disrespectful behavior, it was not demonstrated by our Collierville Schools employees, Dyer wrote. All right. Interesting. The school district investigated their own school. And the TSSAA said, that's good. We're okay.
And shockingly found out that there was
nothing to see here. Move along.
They're not the racists. It's just it's just the citizens.
Right. Those citizens that were all there, they're the ones that...
It's just the parents that are the racists.
Damn parents. So anyway, still nothing as far as any type of statement made by anybody associated with the school as far as the coaching firings and specifically the women's basketball team where the alleged racism was involved in that, the reasoning for the firing. We haven't heard any reaction from Collierville as far as that is concerned. The NFL plans to use, get this, an electronic system for determining first downs. I see that in the UFL. And they will try it during preseason games. And if they feel or deem it successful, they will vote on it and more than likely pass it to use this upcoming season.
It's about time.
It's about time, right?
I mean, we passed a long time ago the need for some guys with a damn chain to run off the sidelines onto the field to measure for a first down.
They say the chain gang will still exist, though. They'll have that as the backup. I guess if the technology goes out, the system goes down, then they'll have the old school chains to measure. But to have a system that the UFL uses, which makes an awful lot of sense. You know, the NFL can never say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and bar that system from the UFL, because it's what they do really is smart. It's innovative. You're using high-tech technology. We love what they're doing. We're going to go ahead and do it. They'll never admit that. No, we're going to come up with this system here that's...
Why, they took the kickoff from the XFL.
I know.
So they're openly taking stuff.
No, they're taking stuff.
They can admit it.
No, but they don't admit it. They don't. Not that they're not allowed to do it. The point is that you would think that they would say, going in, look, we really like what this other league is doing with kickoffs, or what this other league is doing with first downs, and we're going to implement that into our league. We're going to at least do it on a trial basis, and they're going to go from there. They're never going to say that. They're never going to admit that. But it's pretty obvious what they're doing. But they're doing it, and it's a smart decision because it's It's really good what they do. The UFL does some things that, there's some people that certainly don't like 4th and 12 to try to retain the ball as opposed to an onside kick. But some people love the kickoff system that they use. Some people love that they don't kick the extra point. I like the extra point, so I like what the NFL does. I don't see that changing. It's a little gimmicky, but I'm fine with
There
the
are not
UFL.
many that like the fact that you can't kick at all for the extra points. I know that much.
Say that one more time.
There are not many that like the fact that that kicking is not an option for the point after.
Okay.
Having the 2 and the 3, I think everybody agrees on. Like, that's great. Like, having more opportunities to score more points. I think everybody would just give the option to kick.
I was watching
and even if you back the kick up, like the NFL's, you don't have to kick it from the 2-yard line. Kick it from the 15 or whatever you want to do. But I think they all, the coaches, everybody, I think would just give us the option to kick for an extra point.
I was watching Birmingham and St. Louis a couple of weekends ago, and Skip Holtz, they score a touchdown, and they go up by 3. They go up by 3, and they decide to go for 2 instead of going for 1. Is it because they need more real estate to convert? It's tougher to convert the 1-pointer?
And I don't know Birmingham individually, but the 1-point conversions around the league, the percentages are generally terrible.
So that's what it is. They have more room to operate, and they get 2. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, just get the 1. You go up 4, you're up 2 scores.
No, yeah, you could the percentages of 1-point conversions. I think most coaches have kind of given up on the 1-pointers because it's
okay. I knew it had to be something. Yeah,
the conversion rate is because it's you can't run it in. They struggle to run it in,
right?
And trying to pass it down there. If you're going to pass it, you just well do it from the 5-yard line, than do it from the 2-yard line. So, but it's again that's part of the credit. It seems like every single team is terrible in 1-point conversions for the season. You'd think you just better line it up and run it in there some, but teams struggle to do it. And and I think that's also part of why the coaches would like to just say the 1 point should be a kick. Then you can have the 2 and 3, but give us the 1-point kick option if we want to do that.
Yeah, I think you absolutely should have that option, but certainly it had to have been something. Holtz had been looking at the analytics, the numbers, because I was just puzzled why he wouldn't do it. You'd think 2 yards is a lot easier than 5 yards, but again, when you have 5 yards, there's more options. You can roll around, you can roll out. It's a little bit tougher with a shortened field, so I thought that was probably something that played into that decision. From the world of NASCAR, our buddy Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Olive Branch's own, fined $75,000 for the fight that he got into with Kyle Busch after the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. I think I said Charlotte yesterday or the other day. It was North Wilkesboro. Stenhouse's father, who joined the fracas, was suspended indefinitely. Busch was not penalized for his action in the Sunday night race. So no suspension for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., just a $75,000 fine, which is nothing. But his father is suspended indefinitely. Senior.
Telling you.
Ricky's the one who punched Kyle Busch. He landed the left hook.
His dad attacked him.
Well, I know. No, I think that warrants what his suspension is. But Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did not get suspended for punching out Kyle Busch. I guess they hate Kyle Busch too.
I don't know what the precedent is in NASCAR for guys that.
I guess you can punch out somebody now.
Punch. There's not like this is the first time he's ever been punched in NASCAR.
Right, but I don't recall if there's been suspensions or not. Maybe there's only fines. But again, $75,000 is a drop in the bucket.
By the way, just on your Birmingham thing, they do have a slightly higher percentage going for 1. They're 3 for 6, but they generally just go for 2. They've got 21 2-point attempts and 6 1-point attempts.
There you go. Shoot 360 Memphis from preps to pros. If you're looking to perfect your shot to become a better basketball player, challenge yourself, compete with others, and learn the proper ways to shoot the basketball using modern analytics, Shoot 360 Memphis is for you. Parents, grandparents, coaches, I've talked to you about Shoot 360 Memphis for at least a month now. This is the place for your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren, players. If you're a coach of a team, it's a place for you guys to send these youngsters to get your shot on, to learn the proper techniques. If you're just starting out as a basketball player, or if you're a seasoned basketball player and you want to become better, more consistent. It's also great for adults. This is the same system that stars like Steph Curry use. It's a revolutionary training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with expert coaching to improve shooting skills. The facility is equipped with advanced shooting machines that provide real-time feedback on shooting accuracy and arc and depth. Players can track their progress and analyze their performance. There are several around the country, so this isn't foreign to Memphis. But Shoot 360 has been around for a while now in Collierville. They are in the midst of moving, and they will open up their new facility June 1st in Cordova, a state-of-the-art facility. And you can register right now to become a part of that. All you need to do is go to Shoot 360 Memphis to sign up. Call the great folks at Shoot 360 and talk to them about it. Get a tour. Have them give you a tour of the facility right now in Collierville or when they open in Cordova, and you'll find out more about that. You'll learn more about that. They will let you know what it's all about. 901-316-5500 is the number to call. 901-316-5500. It's where the preps and the pros go to get their shot on. It's Shoot 360 Memphis. When we come back, Hour 3, we'll open up Talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You know, one thing we never talk about is how family-friendly Central Barbecue is.
Always has been.
At any Central Barbecue location.
And there are a lot of them.
You know your kids will have a good time and a great meal.
The kids' menu is perfect.
Everything from a grilled cheese to a junior barbecue sandwich to a hot dog, junior chicken sandwich, or classic mac and cheese, and they all come with a side and a small drink, all at a great price.
You just left me with literally nothing to say about kids at Central Barbecue.
I was just trying to be thorough.
You covered everything. What am I supposed to talk about?
The parking?
You just stole the whole commercial.
Celebrate Memorial Day weekend at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 50% bonus trade-in on all new clubs. Buy any 2 apparel items and receive a 3rd free. And save big on shoes, bags, carts, and travel covers. The more you buy, the more you save. Shop with us this Memorial Day weekend, in-store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
If the woman of your dreams has been searching online for the perfect engagement ring, she's figured out there's a few brand names that are worthy of consideration. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and she doesn't want a plain, ordinary cookie-cutter ring to wear the rest of her life. She wants a world-class designer ring, handcrafted by a true artisan that will hold value and stand the test of time. She's found Tacori, Verragio, Ajafi, Simon G., among other premium American-made designers. But when you try and find these exclusive rings, you quickly realize most stores don't offer them. They have knockoffs and lookalikes, kind of like those imitation bags and watches on the streets of New York City. But there is one jeweler where you can find the real deal, Genesis Diamonds. Genesis has been chosen by all the most sought-after designers. Genesis is your exclusive home for these iconic brand names that define excellence. Other stores can only dream of being able to offer these, but only Genesis has them. So be careful. Don't settle for anything less than the ring she is worthy of wearing. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG 510 849. MSRP 38305. Forte LXS RE 78169. MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Mariah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's cool cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or cool cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
This traffic report brought to you by Appliance Liquidators with low prices and top-notch customer service. Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning here in Midtown. Trying to wrap up this earlier wreck on 240 northbound. It's going to be right at South Parkway. It's pretty heavy up through here as it is this time of the morning. We still got some volume over here on 240 East End westbound around Walnut Grove. It's looking a little bit better on 385 Billmore's Parkway coming past Ridgeway, getting up onto 240 from an earlier crash we had that was over near Mount Moriah. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in the Memphis area. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:05 the time, hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Third hour of the program is brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. They specialize in flooring and carpeting. If it's variety you're looking for, they have it. And they got some big news. They are moving from Hernando to Horn Lake, Mississippi, 2356 Goodman Road, starting on June 1st. You can go see all the great folks down at Jenkins Floors and More in Horn Lake. They also have stores in Little Rock and in Cleveland, Mississippi. SPC, WPC vinyls, which are scratch-resistant and waterproof, top-of-the-line, ceramic and porcelain tiles, hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, and so much more. Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins started their business 8 years ago in their garage, folks. And because of the quality of work, the attention to detail, and their pricing, they have earned the reputation of being one of the top flooring companies in the area. So if you're looking for flooring, you're looking for carpeting. They skip the middleman because they sell it wholesale to you. So homeowners, commercial, right? If you own homes and you are looking to build homes and you're looking for flooring and carpeting, think Jenkins Floors and More. They will do the job in 2 weeks. It's a 2-week turnaround. They'll also come to you for a free estimate, free samples. So give them a call today at 662-469-9350. And again, coming to 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake starting on June 1st, it's Jenkins Floors and More. Time now to talk some Grizzlies and some NBA with DeMichael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air. Before it's all said and done,
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
DeMichael Cole joins us each and every Wednesday to talk Grizzlies. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. And as Mr. Announcer Man said, you can read all his great stories on the Grizzlies at the Commercial Appeal. How are you, DeMichael?
What's going on, Greg? How we doing?
Doing pretty good. So Taylor spoke a little bit yesterday at the event, which was a great event, and kudos to Taylor. As Eli mentioned earlier, the money that he's given to, help out the cause is fantastic. They built the new courts out there, and I think the Grizzlies continue to do great things within the community. But I want to ask you about the statement that Taylor made about the summer and the offseason and talking about philosophical changes that could be made this summer. On the flip side, you have stories that are out there that those changes, for the most part, have already been made, that there's a number of assistant coaches that have been let go. What is going on? What is the truth with that, and why are they being so secretive about it?
From the sounds of it, it seems like it's something where they want to, have done later in the summer. I haven't heard that there are a number of assistants let go or anything like that. I mean, there are going to be some changes made and whatnot. We just don't know the depth of those changes. How many guys on that staff, on the of the assistants will be let go and whatnot. But as you mentioned, Taylor Jenkins kind of, he's usually very vague when he's talking about these things because at the same time these are guys that he has personal relationships with, and then also it's Taylor Jenkins. He can say 600 words and you get 2 meaningful things out of it. So with all that being said, it was very noteworthy, that he said, the things that he said about just those philosophical changes. He said, we're going through that restructure process. And he said it's a collaborative effort, and he was talking about between him and Zach Kleiman. And, of course, he told us, when they have updates, they'll provide those updates. But he did not deny the fact that there is some restructuring going on, around the coaching staff.
From what I've heard, there will only be 2 assistant coaches back, but that from what I have heard. Yeah. So do you get the feeling that it is, like you said, it's a collaborative effort? This isn't them telling Taylor, you've got to make changes on your staff.
I think it's both, yeah. I definitely think there's a sense of urgency around here. Like, you just got to be honest with it. Look at the Western Conference. It ain't getting no weaker. Right? It's tough over there. The Timberwolves aren't going anywhere. The Lakers are going to keep pushing forward as many times as they can with as many years as LeBron has left. Same thing with the Suns. They have no future, so they're going to keep throwing all their chips in. Then you got the Nuggets and their core. They're locked in for the foreseeable future. Then you got these young groups, right? Victor Wembanyama, and those guys are coming in San Antonio. Houston is stocked with young talent, and they got some vets around them. Like the Pelicans, the list goes on. Like you could talk, for a long time about just the Western Conference, and you don't want to get lost, in that shuffle. The Grizzlies have the young core; they have the talent. You gotta keep up. And honestly, if you look at the Grizzlies, as we said a couple times already, they have an identity. They have statistical things that have become, where in a way it feels like they've maxed out. And you don't ever want to feel like that. But sometimes it feels like that because what we've seen before this season, when the injuries hit, but the previous 2 seasons, you saw a team that was elite in transition and an elite paint scoring team. But you also saw a team that was mediocre to below average in half-court offense. And we saw playoff series play out the exact same way. When they played those playoff series, against the Warriors, against the Timberwolves, against the Lakers, even the series they won against the Timberwolves, like all those series, they struggled offensively. Like they had to grind those series out. Whereas in the regular season, we saw all these alley-oops and transition plays and, things like that. So the point is, there needs to be some changes made. Taylor Jenkins pointed out player development yesterday. He pointed out, the offensive stuff that we've kind of talked about as well. And I think both of those are big points in terms of what the Grizzlies are emphasizing this summer.
DeMichael Cole joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. This just kind of popped in my head, but with you just saying what you did, when it came to the postseason, and there was other circumstances, obviously, injuries and things of that nature, but they struggled. They struggled in the half court. They struggled doing certain things that they did during the regular season. Well, what happens in the postseason? Teams go all out, right? They play tougher defense. They care about every possession. So maybe it's a little bit of not reality when we watch the Grizzlies during the regular season. Maybe they weren't as good as what we saw in the regular season because when they went up against teams, those teams weren't always playing that hard. I'm not talking about every team, but the best teams. I mean, maybe there's something there. Those teams didn't play. They didn't turn it up to the next level until the postseason. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know. It just popped in my head. I'm thinking, why? Maybe.
I don't think you're too off base with saying that because at the end of the day, there's regular season basketball, there's playoff basketball. And the best way for me to describe that is LeBron James. From 2011 to 2018, when he went to 8 consecutive NBA Finals, throughout that stretch, LeBron won, one MVP during that stretch?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
But if you just go to the playoffs, he probably wins. If he plays his playoff effort, 40 minutes, the defensive effort, energy, every single possession, LeBron James wins 5 or 6 MVPs during that stretch. Like it's two different, it's two different levels of intensity. We seen it with Golden State. We seen it with those LeBron teams that would get 4 seeds in the regular season and then beat the crap out of, a 1-seeded Toronto Raptors or, a 1-seeded Atlanta Hawks team, with Taylor Jenkins, I think, was on that staff and whatnot. So, it's just a different level of intensity. In the regular season, the defensive energy, possession to possession, as you just alluded to, isn't there for every team. And honestly, you got certain teams that are confident and they know who they are. Golden State, after so many years, knew, okay, we have another switch we can get to.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James always knew he has another switch. The Grizzlies are just young and energetic, just like Oklahoma City this season. They're just playing basketball. There's no another switch or anything like that they know of that they have. They're just playing the best to their ability. And when you play a team like the Mavericks, like Oklahoma City just did, that has Luka, that's playoff experience. Kyrie Irving has been through this battle, several times and whatnot. Like you're gonna experience, some of these things.
You're right.
The offense this year, the regular season, was bad. Patrick St. Andrews was brought in to change the offense. They made changes, but are they able to take anything out of this season to assess the offense based on the guys who were actually running this new offense?
I still think you have to look at the game within the game, and what I mean by that is you have to look at the quality of shots you were generating. Like if you want to look at it in the simplest form, the Grizzlies were the 30th ranked offense in the NBA. They had the worst offense in the NBA. So that tells you no, it didn't work, right? But when you break down the film and you say, oh, okay, this possession you're trying to get an open shot for Jordan Goodwin, and this possession generates an open shot for Jordan Goodwin, you have to remind yourself, hey, that's going to be Desmond Bain, Vince Williams, Luke Kennard, maybe even Ja Morant. Or, that's going to be one of those players taking that shot eventually. Jordan Goodwin, he was solid in his role with the Grizzlies, but he's not a good shooter. But those were the type of guys that the Grizzlies had to generate offense for. You needed, Jacob Gilyard, and all these different guys who hadn't had a bunch of NBA experience or shooting experience at that to make shots. You can't base your paint production off of this season to a certain degree because Trey Jemison was the one shooting the hook shot, instead of, more so some of the other guys that you would want, in those roles. So I think you look at it from the perspective of the quality of the shot. It's the same way in, football and baseball as well. As a pitcher, for example, you throw a bunch of strikes and sometimes they get a bunch of bloop hits.
Yeah.
And the stats will say you had a bad day. But hey, I made my pitches. I located it exactly where I wanted to. They just hit them where position players weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing offensively in football. You draw up a perfect play-action pass. You throw it deep. The guy's wide open, and it slips through his fingers. You drew up the play perfectly, but the execution wasn't there, whether it's lack of talent, whether it's, the execution part of it or whatever. And in the Grizzlies case, I think you can still break it down. It's going to be tough, because you'd rather have Desmond Bain, Ja Morant, and all those guys in those situations, and you get a better idea of what this offense could look like. But all you got is, a bunch of guys with lack of NBA experience. So you say, hey, you go back and look. This play was drawn up for this guy. You look at, were we able to generate good shot quality? And were we able to, put guys in their best roles?
I don't think you can learn a lot from the team offensively, like as a team, as a unit, but you can learn a lot about the individuals. And I think they did learn a lot about the individuals. DeMichael Cole is joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. Okay. John Hollinger came out with this statement that he feels there'll be 3 coaches going into next season on the hot seat: Chauncey Billups, Willie Green, Taylor Jenkins. Do you believe Taylor Jenkins will be on the hot seat?
I do. I do. I haven't heard as much, but again, where do we start this conversation talking? We started this conversation talking about assistant coach movement. Just in the history of sport, usually before a coach's seat becomes hot or before that urgency hits the coach, there are some changes that have to be made under the coach.
Absolutely.
It's not always the assistant. Sometimes it's massive player turnover. The Grizzlies aren't going to have a lot of massive player turnover. They're going to have some marginal moves. So the next best thing, when hey, we're not about to move 6 or 7 guys on this roster, the next best thing is the assistant coaches. What did Taylor Jenkins say? Player development has to improve. The way Taylor Jenkins runs his system, and this is from, just me being around these guys for a while and knowing, where he's come from. Mike Budenholzer, Greg Popovich. Player development is largely on the assistant coaches. Taylor Jenkins has this system in place where certain coaches are in charge of certain position groups, certain players. I remember when Darko Rakovic left and he went to Toronto, we were on here and I was talking about how Desmond Bain, Zaire Williams, those were 2 of the players that worked close in hand with him, because that's the way that Taylor Jenkins divides it up from a player developmental standpoint. So all getting back to the Taylor Jenkins thing, yes, I do believe that the urgency is there. We talked about it throughout the show, like the offensive, thing. Let's talk about that for a second. Like, you go through the last 2 playoff runs for the Grizzlies, offense massively failed them. Defensively, I think they held it down. They held it down against the Timberwolves. They held it down against Golden State. They were solid defensively against the Lakers. Offensively, they just were not good enough. They were out physical, and they were beaten. Now, if you go into the playoffs this upcoming season, I don't care if you make it to the first or the second round. If you make it to the Western Conference Finals, that's a different conversation. But they could make the second round, and if they bow out the same way, whereas, man, the defense was good, but, the half-court offense just stunk again, and you look up and the Grizzlies have 82 points with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, there's a conversation to be said that, man, maybe the Taylor Jenkins era has been maxed out. Like, this is what you have. You're going to have great defenses, but offensively, they won't be able to get to that level of a championship team. I think you can genuinely look in the mirror and say that if you have one more case that's similar to what we've seen in the last 2 playoff runs. So that's why the assistant coach conversation is happening. That's why the player development is going to be important, because at the end of the day, all of those things need to improve to maximize this window. And it's clear that the Grizzlies think there's more meat on the bone. But if this season goes similar to those past 2 seasons where they got number 2 seeds and didn't make it to the Western Conference Finals, I think we're having a conversation, about job security next season.
Well, the thing is that, and you with Willie Green on that list as well. When as I said, like, if you got a front office that believes they've assembled a roster that could compete for a championship, and they're paying the price, or like the salaries are indicating like we have kind of maxed out what we can pay for this roster, and you're not competing for that championship, they're going to say like we got to make some moves. It is interesting though that they talk about player development off of the season in which everybody's raving about Vince Williams and G.G. Jackson's development.
Yeah, I did find that interesting too, Eli, but at the same time, it's a bigger picture because they traded a first-round pick from a year and a half ago, David Roddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost like a Cardinals in. That's like getting the first out at third base in baseball. Keeping up with that analogy. So, you traded a first-round pick that early. That's to admit, hey, we missed on this guy. Well,
get ready. It may be happening again in another trade.
Yeah, and look, Zaire Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't seen enough. I felt like before this season, or after his rookie year, I'll say that. After his rookie year, it felt like, okay, the Grizzlies are in a perfect situation where, he had a solid rookie year. His second year, he can continue to improve upon that season, and he'll be in position to replace Dylan Brooks as the starter. It did not work out that way. Mm-hmm. And now we don't know what Zaire Williams' standing is within his team. That was a top 10 pick. That was a lottery pick for you. And then, the list goes on, right? With recent picks. So, yeah, they've hit on these second-round guys.
LaRavia in that first round. Right? He's another one.
He's another one.
Yeah. Really good points. I'll have the final word here in this particular segment with us as DeMichael joins us every week. But to your guys' point about philosophical changes and changing assistant coaches and things of that nature, this team, 2 straight years finishing second. Last year was a debacle. Why was it a debacle? Everybody and their mother was hurt. So to me, what philosophical changes? What are we talking about? To me, I think the changes are being made to appease fans and to say, for the organization to say that even though we had injuries, we can't accept losing. We're not firing the coach, even though they won't say he's going into this season on the hot seat. I agree with you, DeMichael. I think he is. And I think that's what they're saying, that we're doing something for the fans out there. We're going to make changes. We can't make a lot of changes with the roster, as you said. We're going to make some moves. We have to make some moves. But we're making these changes to tell everybody that we're not standing pat, that we're not going to accept losing, and we're going to go into next season ready to rock and roll. So I think that's what the move is for. Here's DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC and catch him every Wednesday talking with us here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thanks, DeMichael. Have a great week.
All right, take care, guys.
You too.
Fleet Feet is the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet. Let them take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and then get you fitted with shoes that are just right for you. Everybody's a little bit different in the kind of the mechanics, the way you run or walk, where you put the pressure on the different parts of your feet. Shoes are all a little bit different as well. And the folks at Fleet Feet, well, they can match you up with the shoes that are right for you. That way you avoid injuries or any other problems when you're out there walking or running, or just if you're on your feet a lot during the day, you want to make sure you get shoes that are perfect for you. Plus any other gear you need, well, they've got you taken care of at Fleet Feet, and they've got 2 locations to serve you in East Memphis, in the Laurelwood Shopping Center next to Panera Bread, and out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy next door to Huey's, to see them at Fleet Feet.
We opened up the show talking about the disaster that was the final minute for Indiana last night, the final minute of regulation. Then they would go on to lose in overtime to Boston. We'll continue that conversation and more with Andy Reaney from The Fan in Indianapolis. Andy Sweeney, I should say. He joins us next. That's coming up on Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Memorial Day weekend is coming, which means many folks will be grilling. And if you're firing up the grill this weekend or any weekend, there's one place to go for everything you need: Memphis Barbecue Supply. You need charcoal? They have 10 different brands of either lump or briquette charcoal. Pellets? How about over 2 tons in stock, 12 different flavors and blends. Looking for wood for smoking? Memphis Barbecue Supply has 9 different types of wood in chips, chunks, mini logs, and logs. You can even mix and match your wood from their bins of loose chunks. Whatever it is that you're grilling, steaks, ribs, burgers, pork butts, you name it, they have over 378 different rubs, sauces, injections, and raw spices to make sure your food tastes great. If you have any questions, they have award-winning pitmasters on staff that can help ensure that your cook will be the best ever. Memphis Barbecue Supply, 7041 Stage Road, or online, mbbqsupply.com.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE $781,69, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Early Monday morning to Friday at 5, man,
Welcome back, everyone. 9:30 the time. Final 30 minutes here on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's where family and fun come together. We opened the show talking about last night's game between the Pacers and the Celtics. We're towards the end of the show now. We'll come full circle and get the perspective from Indianapolis as we are joined now by Andy Sweeney, a radio personality at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis. You can follow Andy on Twitter at @TheOnlySweeney. Andy, thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys. Good morning, man. Hope all is well there in Memphis.
Doing well. Hopefully all is well in Indianapolis, a great city, by the way. I've been to many, many times. And, Andy, you're just coming off your show a little bit earlier. What's the pulse of the city after one that basically was given away by the Pacers in that final minute of regulation?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way to spin it, right? It's a punch in the gut. It's a gut punch. I mean, it really is. It's a chance that, we thought when the spread came out, it was Boston was favored by 10.5 going into last night's game. And, I'm sitting there thinking, listen, I know Boston is good and everything, but I really thought that the Pacers definitely had a chance to cover the spread, if not outright win the game. I mean, you guys know how it is. If you think of the NFL, the team that wins that wild card game, not all the time, but sometimes can carry that momentum on to the next round. And I thought that was what was going to happen. And then even during the game, you look at the 12-0 start by Boston where Rick Carlisle's having to use a timeout a couple minutes into the game, like so very often he has to do. And then, and that mid-third quarter was a disaster from the Pacers. I mean, it looked like that the Celtics were going to kind of just pull away and hold them off in the fourth quarter, and the opposite happened. So it's all the pregame stuff, and then you get into the game, and you take two big-time haymaker punches from the Celtics, and you recover, and you take the lead, and then the final 27 seconds, everything that you needed to not go wrong went wrong. And so it's an empty feeling. It's the missed opportunity. I do think this team is resilient, but you're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. I mean, you guys know this. There's no moral victories. There's none of that nonsense. You got to win games. They had a great chance to win a game. They played well enough to win a game, and then the final 27 seconds happened, and you wake up this morning, and, the talk is the Pacers having an historic collapse, and basically that's what it was.
Do you think you mentioned there was the turnover by Halliburton, there's the turnover on the inbound play, which were the two huge things. But and Rick Carlisle afterward talked about he should have taken the timeout to advance the ball, all that. But do you think this is just a result of the youth and inexperience in these situations compared to a Celtics team that's been there over and over again?
Yeah, okay, so it's great that you asked that. I think part of it is, I think that probably exists somewhere. Mm-hmm. But for me, I said on my show, Miles Turner said something, the big there for the Pacers said that he thought the youth and the age and that sort of thing really reared its ugly head. No, it didn't.
No.
I'm sorry. No, it didn't. Rick Carlisle not calling a timeout before the inbounds is not a youth thing. Rick Carlisle not calling a timeout when Nembhard cannot get the ball in is not a youth thing. Nembhard himself is a point guard, a couple years in the league, sure, but this is a guy that handles the ball. He's in that situation for a reason. He then throws it to Pascal Siakam. Well, Pascal Siakam's won an NBA title. Mm-hmm. I mean, Pascal Siakam's not new. That's one reason they brought him in halfway through the year is to give him some of that. And then Jaylen Brown not fouling him in the corner, okay, when they wanted to foul him in the corner, that's not youth. Again, it was Pascal Siakam who didn't foul. The defense that they put out there in the final seconds to where they were guarding the lane more so than they were guarding the three-point line, and they're not switching everything. So, Siakam gets lost in a pick. That's not a youth thing. So, and by now, this year, their 14th playoff game, and they have been through the Milwaukee series, and you guys know the Knicks series was crazy. I mean, that was a crazy series with a crazy crowd, and I thought Game 6 and Game 7 of that series, they really grew up. So, listen, it's okay to just say we made all the mistakes that we could have made in the final seconds to lose the game. I don't think we have to attach a qualifier to it or their youth. They are a young team. There is no doubt about that. A lot of guys are in their first playoff year, if you will. I understand all that. I'm trying not to completely poo-poo that away, but so many other things happen. Coaching decisions, Siakam decisions, guys that are veterans that have been in this situation, champions. When I talk about Carlisle and I talk about Pascal Siakam, I'm talking about guys that have won an NBA championship. I can't lay it all on the feet of, well, they're young. What do you expect? What they did last night was historic, and it was boneheaded. Am I losing the series?
You talk about the situation, the fouling in the corner. Now, I agree with the defense in the first place of guarding inside the arc. There's no need to at that point. I don't care about that. But to me, once the ball is inbounded beyond the three-point line, you can't foul. Because if you're fouling there, you're going to foul him on the shot. Like, he's going to be shooting.
Sure.
So, to me, like, the possession was lost and the ability to foul was lost by letting the inbound come in to a guy who's standing behind the three-point line.
I totally agree. It was lost. You let him also. That was basically a cross-court pass.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, if you think
to the
about
opposite corner. It wasn't even to the close corner.
Yeah, it was from one side to the other. So I think there's a lot of, I mean, you guys have seen this. I mean, I'm sure there are several Grizzlies that fit this mold or someone that you can think of. Jaylen Brown's one of those players that, he he can play for the foul, can he not? We see that a lot. I mean, they just went through a series to the Pacers. That's all Jalen Brunson does. I mean, Jalen Brunson is playing for the foul to get a foul called as much as he is to actually take the shot. And at times it's even more so. So I think here's what happened. I think defensively they weren't switching everything, and that was the wrong strategy. They weren't defending the three as well as they probably could have. That goes into the strategy. And so by the time, if you watch it, Siakam gets picked. By the time Siakam gets there, it looks like Jaylen Brown is gathering to shoot.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're right. He can't do anything because then you're going to foul. You're going to look like the village idiot if you put him at the line for three. Then, good God, if you ever made it, you ever made it, then he's going for the line 4-point play, then you're losing the game. So I think it's such a fast split-second decision. The problem that Siakam had was Jaylen Brown had to kind of gather a second time. And on that second gather, he could have fouled him without it becoming something. But, again, these are split-second decisions. Out of all the things that happened, from the turnovers to the not calling the timeouts to all that stuff, I put the least amount of blame on Pascal Siakam in that situation, not fouling. Even though I definitely think fouling would have been the right call, with all the things that happened strategy-wise there, at that point, I understand why he didn't foul. I blame him the least, but in the end, it doesn't matter, I guess.
Andy Sweeney from the Fan 93.5, 107.5 in Indianapolis, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. And certainly Indiana has shown resiliency. They came back from 3-2 down in the series against the Knicks to win that series. How do you get over this mental block against a team that's much better than the Knicks and are the prohibitive favorites to win?
Yeah, this is where I'm stuck, and I think this is, we had some callers today try to say, guys, they've rebounded and all year they bounced back, and I agree with that, but I think that's what makes last night so difficult is all these things that they have done. They've rebounded well, and when they've lost, they've been able to pick themselves off the mat. And they got blown out in Game 5 against the Knicks, and they came back and won 2 straight games, including Game 7 in MSG and everything like that. But that's what makes last night so difficult is you're going to have to bounce back at some point, but you could have got one on the road in Game 1.
Exactly.
You could have bounced back, if you lost Game 2, you bounced back Game 3. We could have done that narrative with having a win under our belts, if that makes sense. With that being said, I expect the Pacers to be right there again in Game 2. I mean, if they lose, 110-95 and it's not really a good game in the final few minutes of the fourth quarter, I don't mind saying I would be surprised. I mean, this team has shown to have a very short memory and to bounce back. And to play with a level of confidence and cockiness and swagger in bouncing back. So I expect tomorrow night to be a good game, to be a close game, and for the Celtics not just to laugh at them and have fun. If that does happen, then it could be a big problem. It could be a big problem because then you're talking about, really having, then it's a 5-game series and you got to win 4 out of 5. And do we think that's going to happen? No. This series is so different from the last one. The Knicks were physical and wanting to intimidate the Pacers. The crowd was intimidating. I don't know, last night I thought Boston was quiet. Boston is a finesse team. Their crowd was quiet for the most part. So it's different. With that being said, I expect them to look good on Thursday. If they don't, it would be alarming. And if they don't, boy, you'd have to sit there saying, are they done? Are they finished? Is it going to be a sweep? Is it going to be a gentleman's sweep? I still think the Pacers can win a couple games in this series. I think it can go 6. And I think in these games that maybe they lose, you're going to get a good competitive game. Again, I would just be stunned if they just gave it away and just looked pathetic tomorrow night. That would be really disappointing.
Well, the Celtics follow their pattern. They lose tomorrow night because that's what they do. They lose Game 2. Now, was Game 1 the dud for them of this in the first 2 home games, and you just didn't take advantage of it? Who knows as far as that is concerned? What going into this season with the Pacers, what were the expectations there of what? I feel like I think they're a good team and they certainly have a good roster, but I feel like this is, from fans' perspective, this has got to be feel way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I think it probably feels about a year ahead of schedule. I mean, you come in here and, they beat their over-under, their season over-under. The main objective was to be a top 6 seed and to get that bye, or to not be in the play-in, situation, tournament, whatever you want to call it. That was first and foremost, and they did that, with injuries to Tyrese Halliburton. They made a substantial trade in the middle of the season by bringing in, by bringing in Siakam. They traded some picks away. They traded Buddy Hield to Philly, who, by the way, Buddy Hield stunk this year with Indy. Did you see what he did in Philly? He stunk in Philly until the very end. So, they also, around Christmas time, guys, they lost 4 straight. It's the only time they've ever done something like that this season. They look bad. They allowed 151 points to Paul George and the Clippers at home. And they had meetings that week where they changed things up, and they said, we can't be historically terrible on defense. We don't have to be the best defensive team. We don't have to be Minnesota or whoever, is at the top of the league in defense, but we can't be the worst by a ton. And so they changed the starting lineup. D. Smith started to do things. Nemhard, you bring in Pascal Siakam for Buddy Hield. And so, before the season, it was be top 6. I think then during the season, when they found themselves again, they made the trade. Halliburton got healthy. I think it was, go win a series. And then third, the last kind of, 3-headed monster here, when the Knicks in the final day of the season won. Remember they beat Chicago, if you guys remember. The Knicks beat the Bulls. That put the Knicks as the 2 seed. And the Pacers got Milwaukee in the first round. And that's the best thing. And so the maturation of the season was make the playoffs, be top 6. Hey, now you can actually go in and make a run. And then at the end it was, we get to play Milwaukee. And the Pacers ruined Milwaukee's season all year. They beat them in the play-in. They frustrated Giannis. They were one of the main reasons that they fired their coach and brought in Doc Rivers. And so I would be lying if I said it was Eastern Conference Finals. That's not it. But to be the 6th seed and to have a good chance in round number 1 was always the objective this season for this team.
All right, before we let you go, I'd be remiss not to ask you for a pick for the 500 on Sunday. But before that, do you have the fever, Andy? Do you got Indiana fever?
Well, I mean, yeah, but there is a reason that they were drafting number 1 overall. People do need to remember that. What's funny, guys, is when I started in Indy last year, it was more towards the end of the fever season, and in updates and those sorts of things. We never mentioned the fever. Yeah. Never. I mean, okay, maybe they lost, 85-72. You mentioned the score, right, in sports updates and stuff. Now it's such a huge story. I mean, they went from 3,500 per game to 17,000 per game. I mean, seats that were, seats that were free or seats that were thrown in with a season ticket package to the Pacers are now a couple $100. They used to pull down the shade there for the upper level in Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and now that's open. And there's hundreds of fans up there. They've had a couple sellouts. I mean, they were on national TV 4 times last year. They're going to be on national TV 35 times this year at least, including ESPN already a couple times. I saw a stat that Caitlin Clark's been on ESPN more than Paolo Banchero has. Of the Orlando Magic. I mean, the Fever have been on more than the Orlando Magic have. We got to think Orlando played on NBA TV the entire Cavs series in the first round. So it's a story here, but they're 0-4, and right now they kind of stink, and everyone is dialed in on stopping Caitlin Clark. Like, teams roll the bus up with 2 defenders ready to guard her at all times. She's played fine. She's played well. Sprained her ankle the other night. The only thing I would say, her turnover number is just astronomical.
They are.
I mean, her turnovers, she's got to be averaging 6-7 a game at this point. So I think she'll get it, but, they're not a good team. I thought they would push to the playoffs. Everyone makes the playoffs in the WNBA, but, there's a chance they don't. They're already 0-4, and they play tonight. They're staring 0-5 right in the face.
All right, real quick, who should I throw a couple of bucks on for Sunday?
Oh, goodness. We know Kyle Larson is,
he's doing both. He's doing both.
Well, here's the problem. There might be some rain in Indy.
Oh, man.
And so if there's some rain, they have already kind of said, hey, he's going to pull out and go to Charlotte. I'm a McLaren guy, so I would look at an Alexander Rossi. I say two guys I like who are kind of young guys, who are kind of crazy young guys. Santino Ferrucci starting right by Kyle Larson. Take a look at him. He can win it. Plus, if he won it, he'd take his whole crew to Vegas and they'd have a bender. And then Felix Rosenquist is a young driver who I think can be there at the end. But obviously the big story is, Penske, they got smacked with some sanctions, did Team Penske. And so they just came in here to Indy and won all three spots in the front row. They said, "Hey, it's like Deflategate with Tom Brady. Oh, you want to put us through the ringer? How about this? We got car 1, 2, and 3. How does that sound?" So the odds would say probably someone from Team Penske gets the win.
He is Andy Sweeney from the Fan 93.5 and 107.5 in Indianapolis. You can follow him on Twitter at the Only Sweeney. Great stuff, Andy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, you guys have a good day. See you later.
You too.
But you going Indianapolis 500?
Why not give us a pick?
They still run that race.
Yes, they do. And they give milk to the winner.
Folks, if you're getting engaged this spring or any other special occasion is coming up and you need that perfect piece of jewelry for that special someone to really make them happy for that special occasion. Obviously, you're getting engaged. You want to make sure you get that perfect ring for her that she's going to wear for the rest of her life and be very proud of. And Genesis Diamonds, well, they've got exactly that. They've got the perfect handcrafted rings from all the top designers, an amazing selection of diamonds, which you could choose from natural or lab-grown diamonds. They've got the best prices. They got great people to help you pick out that perfect ring and that perfect diamond for that special occasion. Any other jewelry you need. Maybe it's a pair of earrings. Maybe it's a necklace. Maybe it's a pre-owned Rolex watch. Whatever it is you're looking for, go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds. When it comes to selection, prices, and service, they're just not going to be beat. Family-owned business located at Poplar and Perkins Extended. It is the place to go. If you haven't been there, you need to check it out. Don't buy anywhere else until you go at least go check it out. See the experience for yourself that you get at Genesis Diamonds.
All right, when we come back, one final segment. We'll make our picks for Minnesota and Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. That begins tonight. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 5 Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the month when Memphians and visitors spend a lot of time downtown. And when you're surrounded by all the Memphis inmate chaos and desperately need to find some peace and quiet, steer yourself to Barbaro Alley and Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar. At Bell Tavern, you'll find cool air, low lights, and the best cocktails you'll find anywhere in town, not just downtown. Spend a little time cooling your heels and everything else, and watch the parade pass by at Bell Tavern, your Memphis in May headquarters.
Get ready because the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event is on, and now is the best time to buy. You want 43 MPG Highway? We Gossett in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $18,960 or $279 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. We Gossett, $27,350 or $399 per month. And your summer adventure starts with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE. We Gossett, $29,865 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, online 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage RHFO 9083, MSRP 19460, Sport RUO 110 764, MSRP 28070, Outlander RZO 53896, MSRP 30895, PF 695, acquisition fee 595, 15 cents excess mileage, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
You were talking about this earlier, wondering when Porzingis would come back because they need him, Boston. They're talking about Game 4. Game 4 for Kristaps Porzingis. Al Horford, he's old. He'll shoot a three and make a three occasionally, but pick and roll defense, he is in big trouble. All right, tonight, Minnesota, Dallas. They begin their Western Conference final. Who's your pick?
Minnesota.
In how many games?
7.
Me too. Minnesota to win. I think they give Boston the best run. A 7-game series. I think this will be electric from the get-go. Minnesota, Dallas in 7 games. We both like the Minnesota Timberwolves.
There is a report from the Sports Business Journal that says the NBA is close to a deal with ESPN, NBC, and Amazon for their new rights package. However, there could be some legal action from Warner Brothers Discovery because they believe that they have the right to match the NBC deal, which is the B package. However, the NBA doesn't apparently believe that, so there could still be maybe a fight on their hands. But as of now, according to this report, they are It would be TNT would no longer be carrying the NBA. It would be NBC with that B package behind ESPN, ABC.
As they say, more to come. We want to thank Katie Wu, DeMichael Cole, and Andy Sweeney for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow, we're loaded. We'll have our Showboat segment coming up at 7:20. Steve Berkowitz will join us from USA Today. Kerry Miller on Major League Baseball. UFC fighter Danny Barlow. And the head coach of the Florida State Seminoles, former Tigers head coach Mike Norvell, will join us at 9:30. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.
Be